The story starts with an exciting battle in the village of Lag, where the village soldiers are desperately trying to defend their homeland from the ash monkeys or macaques. Kai finds himself facing one of the powerful monkeys alone, begging his leader Mansu for help. But just as Mansu arrives, the monkey knocks them both down, and Kai finds himself completely surrounded by the rest of the macaques, with the monkey about to attack him. Just then, a swordsman named Olha appears, the eldest son of the kings of Vazan, who possesses the power of the earth, preparing to eliminate the monkeys. He activates his power, and a symbol appears on his face, proving he is a bearer of the chosen power. He quickly charges at the monkeys, taking them out one by one, leaving Kai and the other soldiers completely in awe of his ability and immense strength. However, one of the monkeys appears with the same symbol, seeming to be a chosen monkey, and a battle ensues between them. But Ola easily defeats it, leading the rest of the macaques to begin fleeing from this losing battle. The soldiers raise a symbol of victory, the fight was fierce, and many soldiers were injured. Finally, the villagers get some rest. At this time, some soldiers begin extracting the cores of the monkeys, or what they call the earth stones, from the dead macaques. Olha is the first to drink from these stones, gaining more strength because of it, and then the others also drink the liquid inside, which leads to an increase in their overall spiritual energy. It's clear that consuming the core of the earth stone makes a person stronger and boosts their spiritual energy, just as we've just seen. Kai wanted to get another stone to become stronger, but Mansu wouldn't allow it, saying they were just ordinary soldiers unworthy of such privileges, and that the rest of the stones would be sent to the castle, where the vast majority were reserved for the chosen wielders like Olha, according to what he told Mr. Basco. He adds that making the strong even stronger is how stability is maintained, and he tells Kai he should accept this too, that this is how the world works. Kai was already a teenager and felt extremely frustrated, but accepted that ordinary soldiers like him should become stronger without relying on any outside means, so he didn't bother asking for more stones again. Later that night, a celebration is held at the home of Chief Moloch, where the leader thanks the soldiers and everyone for once again protecting their village from the attack of the monster-like beings. Then he begins a very long speech expressing his gratitude to everyone, which annoys Mansu, who whispers to himself that they should let them eat now. Eventually, they get a chance to eat. I can't help but notice the disparity in the amount of food each person receives. It seems those who contributed the most in the battle, like Mansu, got more food, while those who didn't contribute much or at all, like Kai, got little or nothing. I'd say this is fair in a primitive world, although Kai disagrees and wants to eat more. However, he knows he will only be able to do that if he trains and becomes stronger and manages to contribute more in battles. With this goal in mind, he starts training late that night, but he is so weak that he can barely swing the stick before collapsing, saying he's weak just because he's extremely hungry, and he screams he desperately wants to eat a rice ball. At that moment, Mansu appears before him and asks what a rice ball is. Kai wonders that too, saying that the word suddenly came to his mind. He doesn't know what it is, but he feels it must be delicious, even though he's not even sure if it's food at all. Whatever he says makes no sense to Mansu or even to Kai himself, so he decides not to think about it anymore and shifts Mansu's attention to the cemetery in front of them. The well-kept part of the cemetery belongs to those who had families, while the distant graves are for people who had no one. Like Kai, he says that people like him will never be remembered, and no one will cry for them, and they will be forgotten, but he doesn't want that to happen. He wants his existence to be remembered, and that's why he decided to become strong to survive. But there's something inside him whispering that he will need true superhuman ability to become strong. When he shares this thought with Mansu, the latter begins to suspect that this boy might have suffered a head injury during the previous monkey battle, since he's saying really strange things. At the same time, in the castle, Olha and his sister Jose get into an argument. Jose wants to learn to fight just enough to protect herself, but Olha completely rejects the idea because their father had also refused it, saying that no woman in their family has ever learned to fight. He is the type who believes that women were created only to stay in the kitchen. Jose has learned that she can't change his primitive mindset, so she doesn't bother to continue the discussion with him after he leaves, saying that if she were a man, she could fight. Then we see Kai training hard with Mansu in the village, but when Mansu delivers a strong blow to him, something strange happens. Kai begins to fall to the ground and suddenly finds himself drowning underwater. Afterward, tongues of fire erupt inside him, and his surroundings change, finding himself in modern-day Japan. When he opens his eyes, he is completely amazed by what he sees, wondering if he has just been transported to another realm, continuing to fall while trying to grasp the very air until he suddenly feels something strange wrapping around his hands. At that moment, he wakes up from the bizarre dream, questioning whether what he felt was magic. However, he doesn't actually know what the word magic even means. Mansu looks at him worriedly, but Kai brushes it off and claims he's totally fine. Still, Kai secretly wonders why he keeps seeing memories he knows nothing about over and over again. Apparently, things Things like this have been happening to him for a while. While walking with Mansu, he was deep in thought when in one of these strange memories, he saw a group of rice balls for the first time. For now, he tells himself these are just involuntary fantasies, but of course, he hopes that this magic he felt is the superpower he needs to become stronger and wishes he could use it in his upcoming battle. In the castle, a messenger eagle arrives with a message from Moloch, informing him of a horde of orcs appearing to the west near the village of Banya. Ula says that if the battle will be there, then Moloch should head over immediately to end it. However, Moloch is concerned because the soldiers have not rested at all, especially since they just finished a battle. Despite this, Ula insists that they are just doing their duty and must defend their land without question. Moloch's father finds this response worrying, saying it shouldn't have been said since the soldiers are all from the village. In the soldiers' camp, Kai continues to think about fire magic while trying to stay awake. When Mansu asks him what he's thinking about, Kai replies that he was just thinking of his dreams. Mansu suggests that maybe they aren't just dreams, and tells a story about a monk who was in a dark place without fire, but managed to create fire from his finger, which he used as light. Hearing this story shocks Kai, and he asks if it really happened. Mansu says it's just a story he heard. Kai feels so excited he can't find the words. The next morning, Kai rushes to a secret place to try out the finger flame technique he heard about, and all the way there, he wonders if it's real. He believes that he can achieve it as soon as he directs spiritual energy within him. For him, gathering enough spiritual energy will ignite the flame. After reaching a spot where no one can see him, he starts trying, but unfortunately, his attempts are useless, and he continues without achieving any positive results. Since this technique doesn't work, he begins to think about how to gather spiritual energy. He starts to feel a flow of spiritual energy in his heart, and he tries to release the flame again, but this also doesn't work. He keeps trying repeatedly, still without success. Then we shift to a different scene where the orcs are mercilessly slaughtering the weak soldiers, using their bodies as paths. In the soldiers' camp, they discover that the orcs are watching them from the forests. Because of this, they send some soldiers to stand as guards in the woods. Shortly after, they feel the orcs approach and inform the others, leading to escalating events as the battle begins. The soldiers attack the orcs who charge at them to kill them. Kai fights back, attacking and stabbing the orcs. Suddenly, a body of one of the soldiers lands on him, leaving him stuck and unable to defend himself from the massive orc that was about to kill him. Just then, several arrows fall, knocking the orc to the ground. Luckily, Mansu shows up in time with some other soldiers to save Kai's life and reprimands him for his reckless behavior. Unfortunately, Kai is injured in the leg, shocking Mansu. Meanwhile, Ula is taking down orcs without mercy, causing the remaining orcs to become scared and start fleeing. At this moment, Kai can't stand, and when Mansu tries to help him, they turn to see some orcs hiding behind them. Kai asks Mansu to leave him and save himself. Mansu considers this a silly request and continues to help him as they both try to reach safety. To support their escape plan, the other soldiers decide to scatter. However, one massive orc keeps pursuing them slowly, as if mocking them, and Mansu realizes that the orc is deliberately trailing them slowly for its enjoyment. Due to his complicated situation, Mansu has to leave Kai behind to save himself, a decision that Kai completely understands, saying he would do the same. Kai starts using his spear to help himself escape while trying to unleash fire magic. Suddenly, an orc's knife cuts him, knocking him to the ground, and the orc charges from the forest, grabbing Kai by the neck and is about to kill him. But Kai is determined that he won't die today. He tries to use his spiritual energy to unleash fire from his finger, and sparks begin to appear. He declares that he will survive no matter what. Thanks to his strong will to live, he finally manages to direct his spiritual energy, releasing flames that burn the orc's face and knock it away, allowing Kai to escape from the orc's grip. Kai stands up, excited because he finally gained fire magic abilities. After that, Kai tries to leave but sees that his hand is still on fire, and he panics immediately. All the methods he tries to extinguish the flames fail, and soon he collapses to the ground from exhaustion. The continuous flow of fire consumes his energy, and he thinks of a way to stop the flames before he dies. But while he's thinking, the orc regains consciousness and approaches him slowly. Just as Kai realizes this, he discovers a way to stop the flow of spiritual energy within him, and indeed the fire stops. However, it's already too late, as the orc grabs Kai in his weakened state and starts to carry him slowly towards the edge to throw him off. At that moment, Kai realizes he will die but insists he won't fall alone. Before the orc throws him off the cliff, Kai pulls out his sword and stabs the orc in the chest, and both of them fall into the river. After that, we see that Kai managed to survive and made it to the shore. When he looked to the side, he found the monster lying dead on the ground. He then tried to reach it, and when he did, he took out his earth stone because his magical energy had run out. He drank the earth stone, and his spiritual energy returned. After that, he went to rest, saying that this was the first time he had drunk a whole earth stone by himself. He had a wound that kept bleeding, and he thought he was going to die. Kai looked at the beauty of nature and said, "At least I'll die looking at such a beautiful view like this, but I really don't want to die." Then he lost consciousness. business. After that, we move on to the rest of the warriors who are tending to each other. Then we see that Mansu is sitting in front of the forest, looking at it, and it seems that he was waiting for Kai to come out of it. Then one of the villagers came to him and said, "Where is the new person who was with you?" Mansu couldn't answer. The purification man had been eliminated. So the man said to Mansu, "Forget about him. This always happens." But Mansu was angry and felt guilty. After that, we move on to Kai, who had been sleeping all night. When he woke up in the morning, he said that he thought he was going to die because he had severe wounds. But when he looked at his wounds, he found that they had completely healed. He wondered if this had happened to him because he drank the entire earth stone. But he said, "Even if I drank it all, this is also impossible." Then he looked at the stone he was leaning on and found that it was covered in ivy. He said that it made him feel nostalgic. When he removed the plant, he found that there were strange inscriptions on the stone behind him. The entire stone had inscriptions, so he tried to use firepower to remove the plant completely, but the power came out in a very large way, which made Kai fly away and fall to the ground. When he looked at his face in the water, he found that he had a tattoo like the Chosen Ones. When he went to see the stone, he found that it had strange inscriptions he had never seen before and did not understand. After that, he decided to go to a cliff to climb it so he could return to the others. But while he was climbing, the tattoo appeared on his face again, and one of the stones broke, causing him to fall again. When he tried to grab the stone he dropped, he found it was smooth, but it broke in his hand from the power that came out involuntarily. Then he heard a strange voice saying to him, "Go and try." He tried to turn right and left, but he didn't find anyone. The tattoo was still on his face. Then he tried to climb, but this time he used his speed and was able to climb the place quickly and lightly, which shocked him and made him say, "Did I really do this?" After that, he started walking in the forest and said that this power is much better than the magic he wanted. He was saying to himself that this power is like the power of the guardians. It goes to chosen people. When and how did I get one like them? But all he was thinking about was that if he became a chosen one, he would eat and drink as he wanted. He was thinking and saying that he might be a non-chosen one, even though he got this tattoo. So he decided to keep the matter a secret until he understood what was happening. After that, Kai returned to the rest of the villagers. When Mansu saw him, he was very happy. After that, life returned to normal. Kai was working as usual and plowing the land for so long that he didn't realize it. When one of the people called him, he said to him, "How long will you continue to work?" The rest of the people were sweating from exhaustion, while he didn't feel anything, and didn't even realize that he had done all this. But he thought that the tattoo had appeared on his face, but when he looked at the water, the tattoo was not visible, which reassured him. After that, they started sitting down to rest. One of the people said to him, "What's wrong with you, Kai? How did you become so strong?" Kai didn't know what to say, but he said to them, "During the battle, there were a lot of dead orcs in the forest, and no one took their earth stones, so I took them and drank them all." They were shocked by what he said. He said to them, "I was injured and hungry and couldn't control myself." Mansu said to him, "I understand now why you have become so strong." Then he continued, saying that he heard that many people's strength grew quickly because they drank a lot of earth stones. Then Mansu said to Kai, "It seems you got the strength you wanted." There was a girl named Elisa looking at them in amazement, and it seemed that she was attracted to Kai, which made the other girls laugh at her. After that, we go to Josie, who was asking about the preparations for their town. The worker said to her that although their town is not fertile, thanks to the king and his power, they have been able to make good progress. After that, we return to Kai, who went to a faraway place away from the supporters to train again. When he tried to release his power, it came out strongly this time too, but he was controlling it and saying that this time he doesn't feel that his energy is being drained. He was thinking, what is this power that I got? Is it really like the power of the Guardians, or is it a different power? But suddenly Princess Josie appeared and saw Kai, who tried to hide his power, but she saw it. When he tried to escape, she grabbed him and said to him that she wouldn't leave him until he told her everything. And indeed, Kai told her. She said to him, "Am I understanding the matter correctly? You heard about a fire power and tried to try it, and you succeeded?" He said to her, "Yes, that's what happened." She said to him, "It seems that you have the qualifications of a power user." Kai was surprised by this and said to her, "What is a power user?" She said to him, "They are the people who have the ability to use skills and powers impossible for others." Then Kai said to her, "So this is power and not magic," which made the princess wonder about the word magic. But he said to her, "Don't worry about it." Then the princess said to him, "But there is something strange. You don't seem to be tired from using the power, and I also heard that you have become stronger than before because of drinking earth stones." Then the princess said, "I understand now. You are fine because you have more spiritual power than ordinary power, and I am sure you will be stronger in other aspects, so I want you to train me," which shocked Kai. But they actually started training. The princess was strong, and Kai was saying to himself, "So this is the power of the Guardians." Then the princess activated her tattoo, and it fell automatically. "Is this the limit of your power? I want you to show me your real power after drinking all these stones." Kai said to her, "I accept this challenge." After finishing the training, Kai looked at his face and found that the tattoo hadn't activated. He said, "Looks like I didn't give it my all in this training." After that, he went to the princess and, hesitant to ask, said to her, "I thought all the wardens were equally strong." She told him that she was still weak compared to her father and brother, and also that not all wardens have the same strength. Each one has a different level of power. Therefore, she had to train to increase her strength. He almost told her that she didn't need to train because she was a girl, but that made her angry. She said that she also had to train because she had a duty to protect the land, and a time would come when everyone would have to fight. Even though the wardens would be the main factor in winning battles, there were other reasons for victory as well. After that, the bell rang, signaling that it was time for everyone to wake up, so the princess wanted to leave so that no one would see her, because she didn't want her father and brother to know that she was training. Kai tried to ask the princess what she meant when she said that the wardens' duties weren't just about winning battles and that the wardens had other tasks. The princess told him, "I wish I could tell you more, but I can't now." Then she said to Kai, "I have an idea. I'll be cleaning the monthly tomb soon. What do you think about coming with me?" He said to her, "A tomb?" She said to him, "The tomb in Ada City. I'll arrange things so you can come with me. Shall I tell you the rest of the details there?" Then she left him and went. After that, we see the soldiers and Kai with them, going to Ida City. One of the soldiers said to Kai, "Are the rumors true? Our squad was specifically requested to accompany the princess because she requested you." At that point, Mansu said, "It's impossible that the princess doesn't know about Kai in the first place," one of the soldiers said, "but some people believe these rumors." All the soldiers were looking at Kai with suspicious looks. After that, they arrived at the city, and one of the soldiers said that this city used to be under the rule of King Moloch, but the king was forced to abandon it due to frequent attacks by the demi-humans. But there are tombs here, so we shouldn't neglect the dead. Kai was looking at the city and saying that it was destroyed. The soldier told him, "It used to be thriving in the past, but it has become barren." Kai said, "That's because no one cares about it." The soldier replied, "That's not the only reason. No more resources reach this city, so it has become like this." After that, the princess came to them and said that she wanted to take a tour of the city. The soldier, who we learned was named Flynn, said that he would accompany her, but the princess said to him, "No, this boy will accompany me," and she meant Kai. After that, Kai went with the princess until they reached a specific place. Kai was asking what they were doing here. The princess told him, "Relax," and used her powers to nourish the land. Then she said to Kai that she was praying that blessings would reach this city because only the wardens can do this. Kai was surprised by this statement. The princess continued talking and said, "Blessings and resources no longer reach this city because it has become deserted." The princess said, "Because I am weak, I cannot fully nourish the city. All I can do is preserve this group of roses." Kai said to her, "What do you mean by weak?" She told him, "There is an example of the village we live in. All the blessings reach it, and the crops grow well because of my father's strength. Because it is very important for the ruler to be strong so that the crops grow well. That's why my father never needs training, because he must maintain his strength and become stronger. Do wardens drink a lot of earth stones too?" At that point, Kai said, "I understand what you meant when you said that the wardens must remain strong, not just to win battles." After that, Kai and the princess returned to the others, and one of the soldiers said that they would go down to the basement. When they went down, Kai saw a stone that resembled the stone he saw in the valley. When he touched the stone, he found that he could read it, but when he went to the other side, he found that he couldn't read these words because they were individual words and didn't form a sentence. When the princess asked him why he was talking to himself, he said to her, "Nothing." After that, we see some macaque monkeys watching what's happening. Then we go back to the princess, who was being spoken to by Kaid, who said to her, "I didn't know you wanted to become strong for Ida City." She told him that she dreamed of making Ida City prosperous again when she became strong because she felt responsible for this land. That's why she decided to become strong and take back this city, and she would plant many crops and make many people live in it. This is my wish and my responsibilities in this life. Kai looked surprised by the princess's words, and there were some soldiers who heard this too, and were motivated and wanted to join the princess in this matter. After that, Kai understood the extent of the responsibility that lies on the shoulders of the wardens. He says to himself, "What is the responsibility that lies on my shoulders?" At that point, a soldier came to warn everyone and told them to get out quickly because there was an enemy attack. They laid out the plan and began to organize their ranks. The princess wanted to fight too, but Flynn told her that this was not possible. "Our responsibility is to protect you, princess, and you must return safely to Lag City." The princess was about to say that she was one of the wardens, but Flynn said to her, "Forgive me for my words, princess, but you have no combat experience," which shocked the princess. Then Mansu took the princess to take her to safety. At that point, the enemy began to appear and began to attack. While the princess was escaping with some soldiers, a monster appeared in front of them and trampled on the flowers that the princess cared about, which made her angry. When they tried to attack the monster, another one appeared. The princess tried to gather her strength, but fear was evident on her face. At that point, Kai intervened and knocked the monster to the ground. The other monster was about to hit the princess, but Kai went to him and killed him with great skill. During his attack, his tattoo appeared, which the princess saw, and she was shocked by what she saw. we move to Josie's father's office. He told Alla that she recklessly charged towards the enemy only to paralyze herself with fear, which is ridiculous. But he thinks she now understands that women don't need to fight. Josie said to Alla, but women can do anything. Josie's father said that what happened doesn't matter. What's important is that Josie is safe. He told Alla that what happened was a lapse in the defense of the area and informed him that an inspector from the Central Plains is coming soon. Alla said, okay, I'll inform the soldiers. When Alla left, Josie apologized to her father. Her father asked her, is the boy's name Kai? Josie was surprised. Her father told her that he is a new recruit who can defeat a macaque alone, right? And that he's excited to see what he does in the future. Next, we move to Kai as he unties a monster's rope. Some friends came to him and one grabbed him, asking, were you a hero in Ada Village? Kai said, no, I was just desperate. Another friend said, I heard from Akiza that you and Josie were on good terms. The friend holding him said, come on, tell me. I think Josie smells very nice, doesn't she? Kai said, I don't know. Then Mansu came to them and said, why are you slacking off? One of the ladies said, this boy might be the only promising person, which caught Elsa's attention. The lady said, it seems Elsa is impressed with him. The other lady said to Elsa, then you should get him soon, or another woman will get to him first. Elsa told them, it's not like that. After that, Josie came to Kai and asked to speak with him privately, which attracted attention. People were also wondering about them being together. After they went to a place alone, they were spied on because people were curious. Kai asked Josie, what do you want to talk about? Josie said, thank you for saving me in Ada Village. I didn't thank you enough, but now I thank you from the bottom of my heart. She told him about the power symbol appearing on his face when he attacked the monster, and said it was impossible. She also told him that she froze when she realized that just being strong isn't enough, and that she needs skill and a brave heart to use it. Therefore, starting tomorrow morning, she will train hard every day until she gets the power, and wants him to join her too. She asked him, do you understand? He said, okay. After that, Kai went to chop wood and said to himself, I'll start training with Josie tomorrow. Elsa came to him and offered him a hot drink. He was very surprised and asked her, is this for me? Elsa said, everyone asked me to give it to you. Kai said, thank you, I'm very thirsty. He drank it and said it was very good, which made Elsa happy. Then Elsa's sister asked Elsa to help her. Elsa said goodbye to Kai and left. After that, Mansu joined Kai and told him that spring had smiled on him. Kai told him, it's not like you think. After that, Kai heard a bird sound and started looking for it in the sky. He said he had heard this sound before in the forest and wanted to go there. Next, we moved to Kai and the others' dormitory. Kai heard the bird's sound again, which woke him up from sleep. He left the dormitory room and headed towards the forest. He jumped high over the city wall and then moved quickly, saying he was like the wind. After that, he jumped into the water and floated on the surface without drowning, saying he really liked this valley. After that, he saw the bird that was making the sound and asked it, you're the bird, right? After that, the bird landed on a large tree, which surprised Kai. Kai went to this tree and there were many writings on it, but Kai said he couldn't read what was written. He asked the tree, did I survive this wound because you protected me? And if that's true, I didn't thank you enough for that. After that, he wiped the writing on the tree until it became clearer. After that, he moved quickly, and while he was running, he said that it was dark, but he could see clearly. He went to the water and drank, and then picked fruit from the trees. When he ate it, he said it was very delicious. After that, he lay on the rock and said that this forest was fertile with water and food and said, I wish I could live here. He said, then I should build a house here. After that, he climbed onto the rocks and moved to the top of the lake. He approached the trees and said, the first step is cutting down the trees. He added, I think it's difficult to do that with this knife, but maybe I can use my magic. He created fire from his hands and tried to cut the tree, but he ended up burning it. After putting out the fire, he said, I must use another method. Since I created fire from my hands, there must be another way. He paused for a moment to think and said, I must turn what I imagine into reality. So, I must imagine. He placed his hands on the tree and said, cutting anything means breaking the bonds between the molecules. After understanding how to cut, he was about to completely cut down the tree, but he heard a sound that caught his attention. Behind him was a group of monsters talking in a strange way. After that, he saw a group of people who wanted to enter the valley. He immediately went to them and asked, what are you doing? One of the people approached him and pointed a knife at him, speaking to him, but he didn't understand anything because he was speaking in a language strange to him. Then an elderly man approached Kai and asked, do you understand me? Kai said to him, of course. The elderly man told him that his name was Boric and that he was the leader of the Koror people. Kai said to him, so these are the Koror people? I've never seen them before, and you speak the language of humans fluently. Boric told him, this is because of our frequent interaction with merchants. He informed him that humans consider their crafts to be valuable trade goods. He apologized to him and those with him for entering this forbidden area without permission, and told him that they came here to beg and request the old agreement with the Great Valley. They pleaded with him again, and believed that he was the king of the valley. Kai told them to stop. After that, Boric said to Kai and told him that since ancient times, the Koror people have lived peacefully in the forest to serve the valley. But a few days ago, the orc pig soldiers attacked them to seize their lands. He told him that their weak race could not face them, and that they had been driven out of the land they had lived in for years and were now fleeing. He pleaded with Kai to save them from these pig monsters. Kai asked Boric, what does the king of the valley mean? Boric told him, it means you possess great power that surpasses all monsters and protects all creatures. Kai asked Boric, is that me? But I don't know anything about this, and it's impossible that it's me. One of the Koror said, I also don't believe he is the king of the valley. We used to serve this king a long time ago, and he was a fierce warrior who imposed punishments on evildoers. I don't think this small person can be a great or legendary figure. Kai got very angry and asked the man, who are you calling small? Boric said, I believe this man. He informed them that he had entered the valley as a child without the king's permission, and this is what he received as a result of that. Kai asked Boric, what did you receive? He told him, since I cannot see the light of the sun, but there are many things I can see. He informed him that this world is full of spiritual light and told Kai that he is rich in a noble blue spiritual light, and he can immediately recognize that he is the king of the valley and responsible for protecting it. Kai said, I am the king of the valley? Is this true? Boric told him, there is no doubt about it. After that, Boric informed Kai that they had presented gifts to the valley and told him that he had presented Troy, his granddaughter, to the valley and that she had dedicated her life to the valley. After that, Kai moved to some of the Koror people after they had lowered Aroi, Boric's granddaughter, with ropes. But suddenly, the rope was cut, and Kai ran quickly to save her. He found that she was bleeding and said, I must help her and heal her. He said to himself that he could do it. After that, he said, I must imagine how to heal her, and he imagined this and succeeded in healing her. After that, he asked her to rest and said to himself, so magic can heal wounds. After that, he heard a cry for help from the rest of the Koror people and said, I think those are the orc monsters. He moved to the top of the lake. The orcs were attacking the Koror people, and one of the orcs was about to kill a girl from the Koror, but Kai intervened at the right moment and killed him, which made the rest feel happy. He turned to the other orcs and asked them, what brought you here? But the orc became angry at Kai, but Kai heard a voice telling Kai to kill them and asking him to plant fear in them. Kai said, this is the voice of the king of the valley. He looked at the tree and noticed a light there. When Kai prepared to attack, Boric joined him and told him that he was also carrying a mandate and would help him, and that he would not be an obstacle to him, and that all the Koror people were loyal to protecting the valley and were also loyal to him. Kai said, then I must do something for them now. The orc leader ordered his orc soldiers to attack Kai, but Kai eliminated them with a blow from his weapon. After that, another orc soldier tried to attack Kai, but Boric intervened and eliminated him. Kai said to Boric, are you okay, old man? Boric told him, this is all I can do, and I will leave the rest to you. Kai said to him, okay. He picked up a weapon from the orc's weapons and advanced towards the orc leader and said to him, you have defiled the valley, and I will not let you leave alive. The orc leader said to him, wait, this is not an attack on you. It is a problem between the orcs and the Koror, and you should not interfere. Kai said, this is my business. He informed him that they had entered this valley without permission, and this makes it a problem for him. The orc leader said to him, then we will leave, and asked Kai to forgive him. But a blue light shone from Kai, and he said to the orc leader that he would kill him for the sake of the valley's peace, because this valley belongs to him. The image of the king of the valley appeared behind Kai. The orc leader said, he is the king of the valley. I ask you for forgiveness. But the king of the valley did not agree, but the orc leader attacked and almost hit him with a strong blow. But Kai cut off the orc leader's hand, which made the orc leader feel severe pain. The orc leader tried to attack Kai again, but Kai directed a strong blow at the orc leader, which led to his heart being pulled out of his body. One of the Koror said to Boric, he is certainly the king of the valley. Boric told him, I felt the blue flame when I saw him for the first time, and it is constant and unchanging, and also grants mercy, and that he has shepherded the world since ancient times, and that he is indeed the sole controller of this valley and can do anything. Boric said to Kai, this heart is the special stone of this beast. Kai said, I killed a testament holder for the first time in my life. After that, members of the Kuroru cheered Kai on and were excited for him, but he couldn't understand their words and asked Boric, what are they saying? Boric said to him, they are excited for you because you are about to seize the protection of that pig from him. Kai asked, what do you mean by seizing the protection? Boric said to him, whoever devours the stone of a testament holder absorbs the power of the earth and inherits its protection. Kai asked, is that possible? Boric said to him, normally, this is true, but one cannot obtain protection from more than one stone at a time. He told him that he could consume great power and that he should exploit that to enhance his strength and also so that he could continue to protect the valley. After that, Kai cut the heart in half, poured the liquid into the other half, and gave it to Boric, telling him that it was his share. Boric asked Kai, are you sure? Kai said to him, you help me with this too. After that, they both drank this liquid, and then they both felt a slight pain because this liquid was very strong. A spirit came out of Kai, and he asked, what is this? Boric said to him, it is the guardian of the earth, and when the liquid from the heart is drunk, the spirit of the guardian goes to its grave. After that, Kai felt severe pain and said, my own stone is hurting me. Boric said to him, this is because of consuming the stone of the testament holder. After that, Kai said to them, don't worry about me. He went and told them that he would return to the valley and that they should get away from this place. He jumped down the valley. After that, Kai dreamed of a nightmare while he was sleeping, and he was facing the evils, but he woke up. When he woke up, he found Boric's granddaughter, Aroi, in his arms. He immediately moved away from her and asked her, what are you doing here? Aroi said to him, good morning, master. Kai asked Aroi, did you put this on me? She said to him, fearing for him from the cold, and that Aroi was very worried about him, and that she had dedicated herself to serving him to fulfill all his requests, and that this was her role towards him. Kai said to her, "I don't want anything from you," and asked her to return to her people. She said to him, "I will not return because my grandfather told me that if I return there, calamity will befall the Kuroru people." Kai said to her, "Return to your people, and if you want me to take you back, I will do so." Aroi said to him, "No, I will not return." She said to him, "You saved my life, and it is possible that I will die without you, so I am here at your service." He said to her, "You must return." He said, "Morning has come, and I must return home." He said to her, "Go to your people," and quickly left. He climbed to the top of the valley, but he met the Kuroru people, and Borek said to him, "We thank you for what you have done for us and for subduing those who wronged us, and we, the Kuroru people, are at your service. You in the valley." Kai said, "Don't serve me. I have nothing to do with this." Borek said to him, "Our homeland is still being attacked by the orgs, and this makes us move from place to place, even if it is for a short time, but I ask you to grant us refuge inside the valley where we can live." Kai said to them, "You just want to live here? Okay, but don't just settle in the valley." He told them that he was leaving because he was in a hurry. He left, but asked Borek to wait. After that, Kai went to the town, but Josie said to him, "You're late. Where were you?" Kai said to her, "I was asleep." Josie said to him, "How useless you are," and asked him to start. Kai asked himself, "Will every day be like this from now on?" After that, Josie attacked him. We move on to some farmers, including Mansu, who are plowing the land. Mr. Vizen came to them and asked them, "Where is Kai?" Mansu said to him, "He is in the castle now and has been appointed to the storehouse." We move on to the battlefield between Vizen and Kai. Kai was preparing with some exercises before facing Vizen. Kai said, "I didn't want to attract anyone's attention, but I attracted the Baron's attention." After that, Bosco gave Kai his staff and told him not to use any cheap tricks, even if he was in a desperate situation, so as not to bother him unnecessarily. Kai said to him, "Okay." After that, he advanced to Vizen, and Vizen said to him, "I have heard about you. You eliminated a group of macaque monsters. Now show me your strength." He told him not to worry and that he would not kill him, but Kai remembered Borek's words and that he must hide the power of the testament holder because not much time had passed since he inherited it, and he might be an easy target until he mastered this power. After that, Kai said to himself that Borek was right and that he should not show his power so that the mark would not appear on his face. After that, they advanced towards each other. Vizen began to strike Kai, but Kai dodged this blow. After that, Vizen directed several blows at Kai, but none of them hit Kai. The mark of power also appeared on his face. Vizen said to Kai, "It seems that I overestimated you." He directed a strong blow at him, but Kai moved away and dodged this blow. The mark disappeared after that. Vizen said to Kai, "I like the look in your eyes. Please entertain me more." Vizen directed a blow at Kai, but Kai dodged it. Kai directed a blow at Vizen, but Vizen broke Kai's staff. After that, Kai grabbed Vizen by his foot, but Vizen threw his own staff and directed a blow at Kai that caused him to move away and bleed. After that, Vizen began to laugh a lot and said to Kai, "I liked you." He told him that he would train him every day after that and asked him to prepare himself. Kai said to him, "Okay." Vizen left. Josie said, "I can't believe he gave such a good performance in front of my father." Ola said that he remains a very ordinary person. Josie said, "I will be harsher with him starting tomorrow." After that, Mansu extended his hand to Kai and said to him, "The matter is starting to get out of control." Kai got angry and asked the others, "Why are you laughing?" Masnu said to him, "We will collect your remains for you." After that, Elsa looked at Kai and remembered when he was young and said that he would become stronger. After that, Kai asked himself, "Why is this happening to me?" We move on to Kai and the others' bedroom. Kai woke up from sleep and quickly went to the valley, saying to himself that Josie and Vizen were occupying all of his time and that he could now go to the valley. After that, he saw a tent at the bottom of the valley and asked, "Did the Kuroru enter the valley without my permission?" He went to the tent and saw Aroi. Aroi said to him, "Finally, you have returned again." He said to her, "Are you still here?" She said to him, "I am preparing food for you." Kai asked, "Aroi, did I allow anyone from the Kuroru people to enter the valley?" She said to him, "Only Aroi, no villagers." He said to her, "Do you mean that you did this yourself?" He told her, "I asked you to return to your people, didn't I?" She said to him, "I brought you food." Kai said to her, "The food looks delicious." Aroi asked Kai to eat as well. Kai began to eat, and Aroi asked Kai, "Do you want more?" He said to her, "Of course." She brought him more food. She asked him again, "Is the food good?" He said to her, "Of course, it's very delicious." He told her that he used to eat in the village, but he hadn't eaten this much in a while. We move on to the village. Kai took his share of the food. The cook said to him that she had given him an extra amount, which angered the rest of the farmers. They said to the cook, "Why does Kai take a larger amount?" The cook said to them, "Because you were lazy about working in the field a few days ago." She told them that if they wanted to eat, they should work hard, you lazy failures. The others said to Kai, why you Kai? Kai said to them, don't ask me why. Mansu asked Kai, luck has smiled on you, right? He said to him, that's not the case. While Elsa was watching the matter, she gave one of the farmers a large amount, which led to a fight between them because she had made a mistake in this and wanted to return the food again. We move on to Kai, who is heading to the valley again, cutting trees in the valley, and returning again to the village to train with Josie. He continued to work in the village and the valley and eat a lot in the village and the valley as well. But when they were in the village, they were trying to lift a large rock, but they couldn't lift it. Even Vizen came to them and tried to lift it alone and succeeded in that, which amazed the people of the village. One of the villagers said that Mr. Vizen is very terrible. Vizen said to them, now the land will grow well. We move on to the valley. Kai was using his magic to use it on the flowers, but he couldn't do that. He said to the valley, I think I still have a lot ahead of me until I learn everything, right? After that, we move on to the village. Elsa was in the field. Kai came to her and asked her, what are you doing? And did you find anything familiar? Elsa said to him, no, I was just saying to myself that they are blooming beautifully this year. Kai said, they are really beautiful, but I never thought of it that way at all. Elsa said that these flowers grew from seeds that we brought from our village. She told him that when their village burned, they wanted to preserve these flowers. Our village is gone, but there are more flowers now, and they are strong. Kai said to her, that's right, we came to the village of Lag from the same village. Elsa asked Kai, have you forgotten that? He said to her, no, I was young when our village burned. Elsa said to Kai, anyway, you are wonderful, Kai, and you have attracted the Baron's attention. He said to her, not to that extent, and compared to the Baron and Josie, I still have a lot to learn. I must become strong. For someone like me without a family, I must become strong. I have friends like Mansu and the others, but I always felt that I should become stronger than anyone. Elsa said to Kai that she had told him this before, and at that time he used to stay alone. She told him that when he faced the monster that attacked them after the fire in the village, she thought that he had been killed. But when Vizen arrived and defeated those monsters, he said those words. Kai said to her, I was very frustrated at the time with the villagers who were just watching until they killed one after the other, and with myself who was unable to do anything. So I swore to become strong. He asked, what am I saying now? I had forgotten all of this, and there is no point in such an oath. Elsa said to him, you protected us at that time, and you have not changed at all. After that, we move on to the valley. There was a battle between the orgs and the macaque. The leader of the orgs said, after eliminating the macaque, now our destination is the hateful valley. We move on to Kai's tent in the valley. Aroi was making clothes for Kai, and asked him for his opinion. Kai said to her that they were wonderful. Kai picked up a grain of rice from the ground and said he wished to eat rice balls. Elsa came to him, and he told her that he hoped to eat rice balls someday. After that, Mansu came to them and asked him to work harder. He was reprimanded by his colleagues at work for not performing like them, even though he actually worked harder than they did. Next, we moved to Vezin, who was first trying to hide bags of rice because one of the inspectors was coming to them. First, he told Vezin that it wouldn't hurt to give the inspector a small amount of rice to gain their favor, but Vezin refused and told him that the rice belonged to the villagers, and they might not have enough later. He reminded him to always think of the villagers and their best interests. Now we switch to the workers who are busy transferring bags of rice so the inspector wouldn't catch them. They have to hide all this food. Then we move to Mansu and Kai, who are also talking about the arrival of the inspector. This inspector has the power to seize all the rice in the area and carries a very strong authority. After that, Vezin welcomed the inspector into the village and introduced himself, but the inspector didn't get out of his vehicle because he had been attacked on his way there. The guards opened the door for the inspector to get out, and he exited the vehicle. He greeted Josie and told her that she was a suitable girl for marrying nobles. He then welcomed Vezin and told him that he should expel the vermin since they had attacked him, because they had been the ones to attack him. As he continued entering, there was a knight walking behind the inspector's cart, and he had blood on him, which caught Kai's attention. Vezin stopped the knight to confirm whether he was with the inspector, but it turned out that this knight was named Nada, and he came from the Maz village and had met the inspector on his way. Next, we go to the rice storage, where the inspector saw that the amount of rice was low. He believed that this was because of Vezin's poor management of the village, which made Josie angry. She almost responded to the inspector, but Vezin apologized to him for this mistake. The inspector mentioned that there was a group of villages hiding their harvest and asked Vezin if he was doing the same, but Vezin denied that he was doing so, blaming the bad weather instead. The inspector insisted that the bad weather was a reason for him to stay in the village for a few days. Now we move to Josie and Vezin, who are alone together. Josie was very angry about the inspector staying and how he doesn't act like a bearer of the royal decree and that he doesn't understand anything. However, Vezin stopped Josie from saying this because the inspector was carrying out the king's orders and their village was part of the kingdom. Then we moved to Kai, who was going to Nada and told him his clothes were dirty. Then they got to know each other, and Nada discovered that he was similar to Kai due to consuming many stones, but each of them used them in different ways, gaining power from these stones. Kai found out that Nada was a bearer of the royal decree decree, and also carried an emblem, which one could obtain by using a small amount of stones. After that, we moved to the inspector, who had a lot of food in front of him, but asked for more because he was an inspector from the Central Plains and should be received in the best way possible. When he requested more food, the cooks were shocked by this request. We switched to the angry farmers because of the inspector's presence, which had reduced their meal portions, and they didn't want him to stay even one more day in the village due to his enjoyment of their food. Next, Vezin was informed about a group of orc monsters. At first thought they were attacking human lands, but they had a specific goal they wanted to achieve. They sent an army of orcs for this purpose, and they were on their way to the village to achieve their goal, and they could be followed to learn their aim. Nada asked Vezin to help him with this and pleaded with him. Vezin agreed immediately and told him he would send some warriors with him to help. After that, we moved to the valley in Kai's tent, where Arui learned that Kai would be absent from the valley for a period because he was going to investigate the orc situation with the priest Nada. Arui felt that he might not return to the valley again, but Kai denied this and told her he would come back because he was the protector of the valley and shouldn't leave his land since he was a bearer of the decree and had an emblem. Then, Kai went up to Barak, who told him that the orc he was going to find could be one of those they had killed, but Kai reassured him. Then we switched to the village, where Vezin sent Josie with some soldiers to deal with the orcs, and he didn't send his colleague since that was his task. However, his colleague decided to solve the problem of the macaque monsters that attacked the inspector. Elsa called Kai and gave him the rice balls he liked, asking him to take care of himself. Mansu also called for Kai to hurry so they wouldn't precede him. After that, we changed scenes to the forest where Nada was trying to find the right direction from the map he had, but he found some guards and asked them to see something. When they went, they found a large group of orcs and dead macaques, but the number of dead macaques was higher due to the power of the orcs and their weapons. They had a strong leader guiding them to do this. After learning that they were searching for something important, Nada also told them that he was searching for the same thing. Nada explained that there was a prophecy about the arrival of something powerful in the distant lands, and all the monsters were looking for it. Whoever possesses it would gain a lot of power, so he wanted to find it before them to prevent them from using it to destroy the kingdom and add it to other powerful items before they could acquire it. This thing was a wild spirit that had awakened once again, possessing enormous strength that reaches the heavens, with a nature of light and darkness, good and evil that must be respected and appreciated. Kai thought that this spirit was the spirit of the valley, and saw that these orcs were different from those they battled before. After continuing their journey, they found a village nearby that was entirely destroyed. He went to inspect the village, which belonged to the Uzeli, humanoids, but peaceful ones. They found some of them dead and their horns torn off, and they discovered some orc weapons. They inspected the area to see if any Uzeli were hiding and afraid to show themselves. They split into two teams, one team with Nada and Kai searching for the spirit's location, and the other team with Mansu, Josie, and one of the guards searching for any remaining Uzeli. Josie's team found traces of blood, and they believed that someone injured was hiding, so they followed the blood trail to find him. They came across a dead orc that fell in front of them. We now switched to Kai and Nada inside one of the dark buildings. Nada lit a fire, and was surprised that Kai didn't show any shock when he made the fire, but Kai explained that he had heard of this before, so he wasn't surprised. They found a large stone with writing on it, and Nada pulled out a book to understand the writing because he had never seen it before. Then they found one of the unconscious Uzeli. After that, they gathered all the orcs and Uzeli outside, and Nada discovered that the girl found by Kai was the protector of the Uzeli. She was a bearer of the decree and had killed the orcs using her weapon. The orc wounds matched her weapon, and it became clear that she had defended the village so that others from the Uzeli could escape and hide completely from the village. Due to the great power difference between the orcs and the Uzeli, the orcs were very strong. However, this girl managed to kill 3 orcs because of her love for her people, proving that love for one's people is a trait every bearer of the decree should possess, and that they don't fear anything at all. After that, they buried the dead Uzeli and told them that the protector of this land's decree had been stolen and passed on to another. The orcs were in another place from here, and Nada opened the map again to find out their location. He noted that there were 2 types of orcs, independent orcs who attacked this village, and another type going toward the forest, where the grave of the spirit was located. This made Kai afraid for his valley, and he asked to go there to investigate. He believed he could get there faster because he was very quick, and he set off. We switched to Barik, who found out there was a group of orcs on their way to them, and that they were close to them. Barik said he would go investigate. They moved to the forest, and the leader went there with some soldiers, looking for the macaque monsters. Then the leader saw a fire burning, and thought this fire belonged to the macaques. Of course, there were some macaques nearby, and the leader got closer to them but hid so they wouldn't see him. The leader wondered why they were building a fort here of all places. It became clear to him that their number was very large, and that they needed 200 men. The leader wanted to start attacking them, but one of the soldiers with him objected, telling him that their number was too small to fight such a large group of macaques. However, the leader believed that if he didn't eliminate these monsters after their attack on the inspector, it would affect the dignity of their village. The guard convinced him that they should withdraw now, and that they should be guided by the Baron, which made the leader angry as he retreated. Then we moved to the Uzeli village when Kai left them there and went ahead to search for the Arog. One of his friends wondered if he had found them yet, and that they relied completely on Kai, as they had not returned home until they found the Arog. Manso assured them that they would be stuck here until Kai came back to them. Josie believed she should have gone with him and thought that if not much time had passed, she could catch up with him since she was fast enough. However, Nada asked them to trust Kai a lot and that they had nothing else to do but that. Nada assured them that Kai was in a much safer position than any of them thought and moved to fulfill his priestly duties, which was all he should do now. Then Nada performed his priestly duties, knowing that Kai would guide him on what he wanted. We then moved to Kai, who was hurrying to find the Arog. He spotted the footprints of the Arog, but there were too many, and he realized they were heading to the valley. Then Kitchak appeared and attacked Kai without recognizing him, and then the other friends of Kitchak came to him, including Barak, who was astonished by how far Kai had come. They walked together towards the valley, and Barak told him that he had knowledge about the direction of the Arog to the valley, so he decided to head to them to check their movements. Kai thought he could handle the valley if someone informed him, but Kitchak was angry because they were responsible for the valley and had established their village there, asking what was wrong with trying to protect it. Barak told him that they dedicated their lives to protecting the valley and wanted to help him even a little because it would make them feel at peace. Then a group of Arog appeared, and Kitchak asked what they should do, and Barak suggested they advance cautiously, but Kai didn't like this suggestion, insisting that he should block their path and stop them now. One of the Arog then stopped and looked at Kai and the others, discovering their location. We then moved to the village, where the inspector threw a plate of food on the ground because it was bad and started screaming at the workers that it was disgusting. He began to scold them and told them that they weren't entertaining him, considering this a test for the village for the king. While Elsa stepped forward to clean the floor of the food, the inspector asked her name, and when she answered, he asked her to pour him some drink. However, Elsa felt extremely nervous and hesitated to do that. Then Adelia suddenly appeared to the inspector and offered him more food, pouring him some drink and wishing him to enjoy the food and drink. We then move outside the room, where Elsa thanked Adelia for saving her from the inspector. But Adelia held Elsa's face and asked her not to frown like that, telling her that the return of the person she liked would only disappoint her. The leader, along with the guards, then arrived, and Adelia wanted to talk to the guard, but he was very busy at the moment and would talk to her later. We then moved to Kai, who killed one of the Arog, and Kitchak also killed another, causing the rest of the Arog to panic and start retreating because Kai was blocking them from reaching the valley. Then the leader of the Arog, Adrican, appeared, showing the symbol of the bearer of the scroll, which Kai recognized as a bearer of the scroll. Barak asked if Adrican was from the Rigdaros, which was a group of exceptional warriors known for being the strongest on the land, making the northern Arog powerful. Then Kai asked them to retreat, promising he would fight with all his strength so that they wouldn't be killed by Adrican. We then transitioned to Nada, who succeeded in finding Kai. While Kai and Adrican were preparing to fight, Adrican told Kai that his predecessor had died because he hadn't heard rumors about him for a long time. He said Kai should thank the Bone Chasers for tracking the Arog, as he found Kai thanks to them. Barak understood that they had tracked the Arog that Kai had previously eliminated. Then Kai attacked Adrican and tried to strike him, but Adrican blocked the hit and returned with another strike that didn't hit Kai. Nada was watching the fight from his position. Then Kai lunged at Adrican again, but Adrican blocked his attack with force, pushing Kai away from him. Angered, Kai clawed at Adrican and emerged behind him, preparing to strike him with his spear, but he couldn't hurt Adrican at all. Kai's spear was broken, and Adrican nearly hit Kai with a blow from the ground, but Kai dodged this hit just in time. Suddenly, Kai struck Adrican, causing the rest of the spear to pierce his body, knocking Adrican to the ground, which made all the Koror happy. However, Adrican pulled the remaining spear from his body, healing his wound instantly and grabbing Kai tightly, choking him. Barak was amazed that Adrican's wound healed at an incredible speed for a bearer of the scroll and hoped he wasn't immortal. Then Adrican lifted Kai high and continued to choke him, causing Kai to lose consciousness. We then moved to Arohi, who continued making some clothes for Kai and wanted to finish before Kai returned to her. Then, again, we moved to Adrican, who was still choking Kai to invade the valley after killing him. However, Kai cast a spell on Adrican that burned his hands, forcing Adrican to let go of Kai, and Nada, watching this, was astonished. Barak was also surprised by how Kai managed to cast spells. Adrican then attempted to prevent Kai from casting spells on him, but Kai didn't care and cast a fire spell on him again. However, Adrican blocked it and attacked Kai, delivering a blow that knocked him to the ground, all because he had a strong spirit within him. We shift to Nada, Nada, who knew that the bearers of the scroll had great protection through the spirit that resided within them. Then Kai pulled out his dagger, knowing that Adrican had tough skin and would heal from any injury, and magic was also ineffective against him. Kai wondered what he could do to him. Adrican then grabbed his axe and attacked Kai, and then there was Elsa, whose expression showed great concern. She saw some soldiers preparing for battle because the macaque monsters were coming towards them. We then returned to Kai as he attempted to strike Adrican. However, this blow also resulted in breaking his knife and not injuring Adrican, causing him to fall and drop his bag, spilling the food he loved from it. The Koro were amazed by Adrican's strength. We then shift to Nada, who remarked that the power Kai had acquired could fall into the hands of abominations. We move to Adrican, who mocked Kai because his internal strength was not strong. Kai was furious because he needed to protect the valley. He then looked at the food and remembered several things, saying to himself that there was something else he could do. Kai started gathering his food, but Adrican didn't give him a chance, telling him to leave because he had lost the will to fight. He reprimanded him, but emphasized that to defeat a bearer of the scroll, Kai had to endure the natural laws of the world. Kai gathered his strength, and while the Arog were cheering for Adrican to kill Kai, when Adrican raised his weapon to finish off Kai, Kai lunged, striking Adrican first, which resulted in cutting off Adrican's arm. Adrican felt extreme pain, and everyone was astonished by this. When Adrican attacked Kai again, Kai prepared a wind blade that defied the laws of nature and directed another strike at Adrican, resulting in a large wound on Adrican's body, and he fell to the ground, defeated. We shift to Nada, who was amazed by Kai's use of a legendary power that no one had heard of, either ancient or modern. Then we turn to Josie, who showed signs of extreme exhaustion. While she was walking, she fell to the ground, and a large wound appeared on her foot, causing her to lose consciousness. We then return to Kai, who was absorbing Adrican's power. The rest of the Arog felt grief for their leader and great anger as well. Kai's power surged after he finished drinking, leading to a powerful glow that blinded everyone due to its intensity, causing the Arog to flee in fear. Then Kai lost consciousness, and the Koro moved forward to check on him. Then Kai regained consciousness and asked what had happened, but Kitchak asked Kai the same question and wanted to know what had happened after Kai ate the Adroken stone, and that he had never seen anything like it before, but Kai thought this was an exceptional occasion. But Boric saw that a warrior like Adrican had great spiritual power, but Kai succeeded in defeating him, and that the event that happened a little while ago was the cry of power that was inside Adrocan. But Kai wondered, surprised, does that power do this strange event? He also asked how he would use this power after that. Then Kai went to the river to wash, and Boric and Kitchak were with him, and he felt something strange, as if they were being watched. But Boric felt this too, but he ignored it because it was not aggressive towards them, but he could not know who it was. Then Boric asked Kai to return to the valley and allowed them to do so. Then Kai felt hungry and took out food and thanked Elsa for the food and began to eat. Then Kai moved to the village of Yuzuli, and everyone was waiting for him and were surprised by his return, and one of his friends told him that Josie was injured, which made him feel worried, and he asked what had happened to her. Manso told him that she had a fever and suddenly collapsed. Kai asked again about the mark on Josie's foot. Then Nada came and he knew this mark, but he first asked Kai to tell him what had happened with the orgs. But Kai was interested in Josie first, but Nada convinced him that they would take Josie to the homes, and asked him to tell him about the orgs first. But Kai lied, and told them that when he reached them, a strange person eliminated them and their leader, who was one of the orgs wearing protective armor, and that the rest of the soldiers fled, and Kai's friends were surprised by their escape because their leader was eliminated. Then Nada asked to return Josie to the village now. Then they carried her and headed to the village, and while they were walking, Nada approached Kai and told him about the traces of blood on his clothes, which made Kai surprised, and he lied again, and said that he was stained with blood when he was crossing a pool of blood. And when they approached the village, they found the village under attack by macaque monsters, and Manso asked Kai to check the matter because they should not go to the village with Josie like this, because she was in a critical condition. Then Kai advanced to the village, and we moved to the village, which was in a state of great attack and destruction, and many dead appeared. And when Kai arrived there, he approached Mr. Basco and asked what had happened. He learned that they were attacked by the macaques, and their numbers were very large, and that they were defeated with great difficulty by the Baron, but the village was subjected to great destruction because the macaques are skilled in throwing stones. Then Kai went inside and shouted to call Elsa. Then she appeared and was helping an old woman. Then he approached her to check on her, and Elsa felt happy that he was also fine. Then we moved to Vizian's office, and they moved Josie to him, which made Vizian very worried about his daughter, and Nada tried to explain to Vizian about Josie's illness, but Vizian knew the type of illness, and that he knew who did this to them, and he also showed his son, who was suffering from the same illness, and Vizian was angry because these monkeys did that to his children. Then we moved to the macaques' place, and 2 people from the village went to monitor them, and there were a large number of macaques, and they were planning to attack again. Then we moved back to the village, and Kai helped Elsa treat the old woman, and he was surprised by the great damage that the village suffered. Then Kai thanked Elsa for her rice balls. Then Manso came to Kai and told him that Vizian wanted to see him. Then Kai moved to Vizian, and Vizian felt relieved from the org attack, but Kai felt very sad for his children and Josie too, but Nada explained to him that these injuries were the result of the curse placed on the Earth's gravestones. And Vizian told them that the macaques eliminated their best warriors and that they attacked the village, and that their scouts told him that they were planning another attack. Then Nada asked Kai to join him to break the curse of his children so that he could fight again, and that he wanted to accompany him because he trusted his abilities and strength. Then Vizian told them that they would go to the abandoned villages where every grave is treated monthly, and he told him that they must go to 2 villages to heal his son, his 2 aides, Ida and Ilg. Then Vizian grabbed Kai and told him that this mission must succeed because they were in a race against time and were relying on him. Kai agreed after looking at Josie, who was in pain. As they were going on the mission, the inspector appeared, asking for a lot of drinks. Then he reprimanded them and returned to his room, which made Kai wonder about his behavior, as he was a wheelbearer and wasn't helping at all. Then they walked, and after that, they agreed to meet at the north gate when they were ready to leave. Then Kai went to Elsa and told her that the rice balls were wonderful, and that they had saved him from harm, which made Elsa happy. Then he told her that he had to leave again, but not to worry about him, he would be back immediately this time. And after he finished this, he would take her to a special place where they could eat rice balls alone. Then Elsa held Kai's hand and told him that she was waiting for his return. Then Kai went to Nada and gave Nada something from Vizian, which would be used to break the curse. Then he asked him if he had gone to see anyone, but Kai denied it, which led Nada to inform him that he was the second son of a nobleman and had studied hard, but he was not chosen as a wheelbearer. And since he no longer belonged to the household, he went to the monastery and began training daily, and his life was filled with joy and sometimes sadness, and this is what they must protect. Then they left. Then they moved to Ilg village, where its curse would be removed. Then Nada used his power to scout the number of macaques inside, but Kai felt that this was the thing that had been watching him during his fight with the orcs. Nada heard Kai when he said fight, but Kai changed the subject. Then Nada told him that he learned this technique in the monastery, and that through this technique, he could see anything, no matter how far away. Then he told him that there were only 5 guards and asked him to go. Then Kai attacked the macaques and eliminated 3 of them, and Nada eliminated the other 2. But Nada finally discovered Kai's truth, and that he wanted to see this with his own eyes to be sure. He introduced himself to Kai again as Nada, and that he was sent by Maz to search for the truth of power. He asked him to forgive his rudeness and asked him to use his power for the benefit of the united human kingdom, but Kai approached him and asked him to stop so they could lift the curse of Ilg. Then Nada removed the curse, and Kai stood as his protector. Nada told him that the United Kingdom needed a new protector, but Kai wondered if he had chosen him to come here to talk to him about this matter. But Nada told him that they needed him in the United Kingdom because the kingdom was deteriorating every year, and Gandalf was a good example of this, and that the wheelbearers in the Central Plains who supported the king were immersed in luxurious matters and forgot their studies, which led to a great deterioration. If the kingdom had been in its former strength, it would have been possible to send an army immediately to regain control of the village instead of abandoning it, and the number of tragedies like the one that occurred in this village would continue to worsen, and their decaying shrines could no longer support the king. He continued to remove the curse and also told him that they must seek help from someone like him because of the fragmentation of the current hierarchy within the kingdom. And after he finished extracting the wood, he poured the blood from Vizian because he was the wheelbearer of the village, and told Kai that the curse had been dispelled. Then they moved to the village from above, and Nada told him that the macaques sought to control the village after the gravestones, and the paralyzed wheelbearer were so desperate that they wanted to weaken and impoverish the land, and that the macaque nation was facing a grave danger, and this danger prevented them from continuing to live, and that they were now looking for a new place to live, and the same applied to the orcs who were chasing them, and that they were threatened by strange creatures in the north, and that they needed new power to stop them. Therefore, Kai discovered the reason for sending Ardokin with the orcs, but Nada believed that with the passage of time, the human kingdom could be destroyed. He asked Kai if he could grant his power to them to save millions of lives, which led to the appearance of the wheelbearer's symbol on Kai's face, which caused him to be pushed away, and he asked Nada to leave him. He thought for a moment, then Nada told him that they had to go to the other village, and that he was waiting for a response from him when they dispelled the curse there. Then we moved to Allaha's room, and the traces of his curse began to disappear. Then Pasco informed Vizine about it, but he was still unconscious. Vizine understood that Mr. Nada had now succeeded in dispelling the curse, and if Allaha could fight, their strength would be better enhanced. Then we moved to Nada and Kai after they eliminated the macaques in the other city, and Nada removed Josie's curse. While Kai was moving alone, he began to think and talk to himself about his strength, and that he could not use it perfectly, but if he used it to save humans, there would be no village like this again, and this might be a good way to use it. But why is the valley's power angry? Then Nada came to him, waiting for a response from him to help him, and he tried to motivate him to do this because he would be rewarded by the king if he joined them, and his strength would be further enhanced. against. Then he would save his village from any evil easily, and important people too, especially which led Kai to remember Elsa and Josie. Then Kai asked if there were other people he would like to protect too, but Nada knew that they were the Koror and that they were with him in the ogre battle. Kai explained to him that they were his responsibility and that he must protect them, but Nada asked Kai to abandon them, which led to Kai's surprise and anger. But Nada told him that he should not have lowly human-like followers because humans are humans and they are tested by the heavens, and the idea of associating with other people is out of the question. He pleaded with him to dedicate his full strength to the United Kingdom only. But Kai refused if that was the case, and told him that the Guardians of the Will have the responsibility to protect the land and the people who live on it, and he cannot serve the kingdom if it means abandoning the people who followed him. Nada tried with him again, but Kai strongly refused. Then Nada discovered that Kai was very stubborn and that he would not be able to change his mind, and that he would give up and explain the matter to Maz. Then we moved to Ida village, and a group of macaque leaders discovered that the guards had been killed, which led to their anger. Then we moved to Nada and Kai, and Nada asked what was happening now in Lag village, and Kai hoped that they would not be attacked again, and that he was worried about Elsa and Josie. Then Nada showed his weapon and stabbed Kai from behind, which surprised Kai by this action. We moved to the village, and Olaha began to speak, and Elsa felt worried with the onset of rain. Kai was stabbed with a deadly weapon wielded by Nada, which was inherited in the monastery belonging to Nada. This weapon is used to breach the defenses of the bearers of the mandate and drains their strength. Even if a bearer of the mandate resists, it is hard to deal with. Nada did this when he learned that Kai would use his power for his people and village, which he considered an act of arrogance and dangerous. However, Kai felt severe pain and tried to move, but couldn't because Nada stepped forward and placed his foot on him to stop him. Nada gripped him again, causing Kai to feel intense pain once more, and told him he didn't realize how powerful this weapon was. Nada felt jealousy because he lacked such strength despite studying for a long time. Then he pressed on the weapon, causing dark energy to escape from Kai's body, and he felt great pain too. Nada then withdrew the weapon from Kai's body and told him that the pain would last for just a moment, and he threw him to the ground. He almost lost his hands inside Kai to absorb his strength, but Kai pushed him away and kicked him to distance himself. After that, Kai healed from the pain instantly using the superpower within him. Then we moved to the village, where everyone began rebuilding. One villager asked why help was not coming from nearby villages, but since everyone was busy protecting themselves, no one sent anything over. However, Mansu had another opinion. If they failed, they would all go to heaven and cross Isbi Rio together. Then Vizan appeared and asked them to prepare because the macaque monsters were about to attack them again. Everyone listened to him, but Vizan motivated them for this battle, telling them that even if they were outnumbered, they would stand against the monsters with everyone who could bear arms, and that they would defend their village with their own hands, which increased the villagers' enthusiasm. Then we shift to Lady Adelia, who was reassuring the injured. She told them as long as they were inside the castle, they would be safe. Meanwhile, on the other side, Elsie was comforting another wounded person, and told her injured daughter that if another attack happened on the village, she should go to a safe place immediately. But Elsa intervened and told her not to be afraid because she was there with her. Next, we returned to Kai, where Nada was trying to convince him that if he died, he would save everyone at the cost of his life, allowing humanity to regain its lost power. But Kai was very angry and still felt pain, as he knew the truth of what Nada said. However, he had to protect the valley and everyone there too. He showed his weapon because he made the decision to protect them. Nada saw that Kai was about to abandon the Koror people, but Kai firmly rejected this, as he had been granted this power to protect the land and its people, something Nada did not understand. But Nada could not comprehend Kai's words, and saw him very determined in his opinion, and prepared to attack him. Then one of the macaque monsters suddenly appeared and attacked them. We switched back to the village, which was also under attack from the macaques, leading to damage in the city walls. The warriors were ready for them. Then one of the macaques threw a large rock at the village, but Vizan did not let the rock pass and destroyed it. He asked his soldiers to showcase their power against the macaques. However, the macaque monsters did not stop their attack and kept hurling flaming stones at the village from a distance by order of their leader. Back to Kai and Nada. Nada was under attack from one of the macaques, but he dodged the creature's strikes. Then another macaque beast attacked Kai, but Kai avoided its blows. Soon, 3 macaques appeared, and one of them asked who among them had lifted their curse. The other informed them that they would not leave here alive. They showed signs of the bearers of the mandate, which was difficult for Nada to fight against. But Kai was furious because they were the cause of Yusi's curse and advanced toward them, showing them that he was also a bearer of the mandate. The beasts became furious when they discovered that Kai was a bearer and had nullified their curse, launching an attack on him. Kai dodged their direct strikes, but the last beast managed to throw Kai away. Then it attacked him, and Kai delivered a swift blow, pushing the beast away from him. However, Kai still felt the pain from Nada's weapon. Nada moved toward Kai and discovered that he used his wind power. Then they heard a voice telling them they would kill Kai, which made Kai very angry. Nada, who would not allow them to take the power he had found, was then attacked by one of the monsters. Nada defended himself against its strikes, but he could not withstand for long against the beast, leading to him being thrown to the ground and left unarmed. He was about to receive a powerful blow when Kai intervened just in time, surprising Nada. Then the monsters attacked them again, but Nada pushed Kai away and shot fire at the macaques, driving them off. Nada and Kai then met in a secluded place, and Nada asked why Kai had saved him despite having stabbed him in the back. The truth was that Kai's body moved on its own. Nada wondered why Kai had such strength. The macaques were seeking them everywhere, and Nada observed them, realizing they had to fight a group of monsters consisting of a priest and an injured bearer of the mandate. Kai admitted they were in a tough spot now. Nada approached Kai and suggested that if he wanted to come back alive, he should follow his instructions. But if Kai survived, he might end up killing Nada afterward. Nada ignored Kai's words and told him they would cross the bridge because it was impossible for them to die in this place. He wanted to see the extent of the power inside Kai while running toward the truth. They were almost caught by one of the monsters, but Kai quickly escaped from where he was. The monsters chased after him, but they suddenly disappeared when Kai stopped running. Then Kai heard the monster's voice speaking to him while Nada was hidden to observe the monster's hiding spots. When one of the monsters appeared behind Kai, he ambushed it, successfully delivering a blow that sent it away from him. The other monsters were about to attack him, but they vanished instantly, surprising them that Kai had also recognized their movements. Nada then used his vision power to guide Kai toward the monster's path, informing him that one of them was coming from his right. The monster almost attacked Kai, but he managed to eliminate it. Nada was amazed by Kai's strength. When the third monster lunged at Kai from above, Nada rushed to save him, but Kai delivered a blow that eliminated it. While Nada was astonished by Kai's strength, another monster attacked Kai, and Nada tried to hit it but had no effect. The beast succeeded in injuring Nada, but it was taken aback by Kai's assault, unable to escape Kai's blow, resulting in its demise. However, Nada coughed up blood and was on the verge of death, causing Kai to feel sad for him. Now we shift to the first bearer, who woke up and asked what had happened to him. He looked at Juicy to check on her, then felt an earthquake. He scolded the macaques for causing this, trying to go after them, but was stopped by his nurse due to his terrible condition. He asked the nurse Akoi to bring him his clothes and sword, so he could show them the strength of his family. Akoi was ready to do anything for him to support him. Then we returned to Kai, who was trying to heal Nada. Nada thought that Kai would kill him afterward and asked him if he could save him. Now his body was moving on its own again. Kai asked Nada to be quiet and drink a potion, but Nada saw no point in it since they had the Power Stone. His vision was fading, and he thought his search for the truth was ending in this place. But Kai did not give up and began using his power to heal Nada. Nada was once again astonished by Kai's healing spell, finding it strange. He asked Kai if the valley had also granted him this spell. Kai told him he was far from human reach and had tried to control the spirits. Nada raised his hands to the sky, wishing to see Kai's inner strength. He told Kai that at the place where he was going next, he would find Isby Ryo and afterward die. Then the rain fell on them. We then turned to the village, where Juicy also woke up and was surprised to find herself in her father's room. She remembered that she lost consciousness in the Uzili village, and was approached by her maid to check on her. However, an earthquake occurred as a result of the monsters attacking the village. She told her, and Juicy thought that while they were chasing the erg, the macaques had attacked them. The maid had a message from her father, telling her that in times of hardship, she should escape the village and save herself. Juicy was shocked by her father's words, as the monsters continued to attack the village. Next, we get back to Juicy, and the maid informed her that Vizen did not want her to fight. Juicy believed her father saw her as unnecessary in combat, and that she couldn't fight because she was a woman. She then left her room and saw many women and children outside. When she asked what was going on, the maid told her they were there by Vizen's order, but Juicy didn't mean that, and asked them to use her room so they could feel safe, because they would face the monsters and succeed in driving them away. Then, 2 guards entered the inspector's room, but they couldn't find him there. They thought he had participated in the battle, while the other believed he had escaped. Meanwhile, we switch back to the inspector, who was trying to flee, assisted by his aides. He almost got hit by one of the macaques, but dodged. The inspector cursed Nada, saying he was useless since he couldn't find him when he needed him. Then we moved to Elsa, who brought food to the warriors and wished it was better than this. But there's more, and Elsa will get it for them. One of the warriors thanked her but warned them about the danger of the place now. On the other side, the inspector ordered his assistants to open the gate so he could return to the capital. The warriors thought he was helping them in the battle, but they were surprised he wanted to go back to the capital and leave them behind. However, the inspector's assistant couldn't budge the door because it was too strong. The inspector got very angry and went to the rope, raising it to open the gate. But a warrior stepped forward and told him that Vezin ordered the gate to remain closed at all costs, because if it were opened, the macaques would come in. He asked him to stop, but the inspector stabbed the warrior with his weapon to get him out of the way, and the rest of the warriors almost charged at the inspector. But the inspector took Elsa as a hostage and told them to back off, warning them not to touch her, and that he didn't care what happened to this remote village. Even if they ended up killing each other, he didn't care at all. Then his carriage came to him, and after that, he cut the rope to open the gate, which made Vezin furious when he saw this. The inspector then ran away with Elsa, and when they tried to close the gate again, the macaque managed to stop the gate from locking, and they entered the village, facing the warriors face to face. Then the macaques attacked the warriors, but Vezin came to them and began striking them down, eliminating a group of them. When another group of macaques approached him, he asked the warriors to guard his back and leave the macaques to him. He threatened the macaques, and his expression revealed a mark of power, causing fear among the macaques. Next, we move to Kai, who was rushing to the village, knowing he had to arrive at the right time. Then we shift to the village where one of the officials saw that the macaques were targeting the Power Stone with Vezin. We then switch to the inspector, who believed that this was the end of the village. He had rescued Elsa, who should be grateful to him, and when he tried to put his hand on her, she forcibly pushed him away. Then we return to the village, where Vezin defeated one of the macaques, surprising the others because all the warriors bore the symbol. However, the warriors only painted their faces to scare the macaques. They then attacked the macaques, and one of the warriors asked the soldiers to try to close the gate if they had the chance, and not allow any of the monsters to enter. Then Mansu killed one of the macaques, and after they closed the door, they thought they were safe, but stones were thrown from the remaining macaques outside, leading the warriors to believe that the door would be opened again. A lookout soldier informed them that the macaques had gathered at the gate, which shocked Vezin. However, one of the officials urged Vezin to flee now, as he was the strongest on the land and, since he was safe, this village would be rebuilt afterward. They urged him that he would be in charge afterward, and others asked Vezin for the same, because they now perceived themselves as bearers of the symbol by painting it on their faces. Then we move to Kai, who was still rushing toward him. When he arrived, he saw many macaques outside, which angered him, but the macaques' attention turned to Kai. He then attacked them, showing the mark of the bearer of the symbol. Next, we transition to Vezin, who is bidding farewell to the warriors. He asked the officer Flynn to take care of his daughter, Josie, and not let the macaques take over the land. Flynn asked Vezin what he would do next, but Vezin insisted he should stay with the soldiers and the castle's children. He told Flynn not to worry because if the battle began and ended in their favor, he would find a way to escape. Then the macaques succeeded in breaking through the village gate and attacked the soldiers. Vezin engaged them and successfully defeated them, impressing Mansu with his strength, which came from the Power Stone. Mansu then requested the remaining soldiers to attack. Vezin faced one of the macaques carrying the symbol, who threatened him, saying he would take the Power Stone. Then we moved to Ola, trying to assist them in battle but leaning on his assistance. He asked them not to interfere and told them to re-enter the castle and prove to the macaques that they were present. He began attacking them. Next, we see Josie, who said to herself that she thought she had recovered and that she could fight now. She grabbed the unusual spear she had used to defend her people and land, and insisted she would fight now. Everyone was amazed by Ola's arrival. Then Azula struck one of the macaques, eliminating him. When the warriors saw Ola on their side as well, it increased their enthusiasm. But Vizin thought that Ola had not been healed yet, but Ola struck one of the macaques carrying the will, but it was not affected and led to the breaking of Ola's sword. Then the macaque carrying the will struck Ola, but Josie intervened at just the right moment, and the symbol appeared on Josie's face, shocking Vizin. Josie attacked the macaque and beheaded him, and the warriors continued to eliminate the macaques while Vizin and Josie persisted. One of the soldiers tried to stop Ola because of his illness, but he refused this because he could fight. Then Ola attacked one of the macaques and struck him a strong and big blow, and that he would not accept their curse at all. Vizin continued to strike the other macaque who carried the symbol, and confessed to Josie that he underestimated her because she was a woman and did not realize she was a strong fighter. But one of the macaques told Vizin that the female bearer of the symbol wouldn't help them, as there were many macaques outside. However, Vizin saw that the remaining macaques changed their direction toward the village, and wondered what was happening as the macaques struggled outside from Kai's strikes. When Vizin saw that it was Kai, he sent his traditional weapon to him. When Kai grasped his weapon, he faced the macaques alone and succeeded in defeating some, leaving everyone astonished by Kai's strength. One of the macaques, a follower of the macaque leader, threatened him, and Mansu and his friends were also amazed by Kai's power. Mansu informed them that he was a true bearer of the symbol. Vizin saw that the strength they lacked was compensated for by Kai. After Kai finished defeating a large number of the macaques, one of the macaques carrying the sword attacked him, but he wasn't spared from Kai's powerful blows, which killed him. When the leader of the macaques saw this, they promptly fled, making the soldiers feel happy about their victory, raising their flags waving in the air. Ola saw that his weapon was worthless, realizing that the boy he had called Ordinary was the one who saved the village. Afterward, the soldiers wiped off the symbol of the bearer, and Kai did the same, but Josie thought he was lying to her because she saw him him as a bearer of the symbol too. Then Vizine approached Kai and asked him about Nada, but Kai told him that he died after lifting the curse and facing the macaques, which surprised Vizine. Kai explained that they faced 3 bearers of the symbol, so all they had to do was defend themselves, but Vizine believed Nada was strong enough to kill the macaques. Yet, Kai insisted that he fought them on equal footing but died, and he couldn't honor him with a proper burial. However, Vizine would send a soldier to retrieve his body. Then Elsa's sister came and informed Kai that Elsa had not returned yet. Kai thought she had vacated the place, but her sister had not seen her after distributing rations to the soldiers. Mansu saw the inspector kidnapping a girl in his cart, but Kai quickly ran to catch up with her, surprising Mansu by how fast he could catch up. He wondered how that was possible. We then moved to the inspector on his way to the capital, asking his aide how many kilometers they had left. When he learned they had 1,000 kilometers to go, he attacked Elsa again, trying to show her affection. However, the inspector sensed something large approaching them and used his symbol. Kai saw them on their way to him, and Elsa noticed Kai and felt happy. Then the inspector tried to shoot arrows at Kai, but Elsa pushed him, causing the arrow to fall from his hand, which angered the inspector. The horses also felt a sense of fear, leading the cart to overturn, and the horses fled after breaking their restraints, resulting in one of the inspector's aides dying and the inspector falling to the ground, unable to move. Kai then rushed to the cart, finding Elsa, but saw the inspector's weapon embedded in her body. He picked her up and pulled her out of the cart, telling her he would save her. He used his magic to try to heal her cells, but was surprised that it didn't work and thought it was due to the numerous wounds. He wondered what to do. Then the power of the bearer of the symbol appeared in the inspector, allowing him to stand again and heal himself. Kai went toward the inspector for stabbing Elsa, which made Kai extremely angry, but the inspector denied it, claiming it wasn't his fault. He went on that if she died, it would be Kai's fault, because his power frightened the horses. If that hadn't happened, they wouldn't have reached that point. But Kai didn't believe that at all. The inspector argued that only those with the symbol should kill the weak, that the world works this way, and only the nobles should possess it. He insisted that a fool like Kai would lose himself because of the power, leading to more deaths. However, Kai placed his hands inside the inspector's body and ripped out his heart, resulting in the inspector's death. He then carried Elsa and rushed to revive her, promising her that they would always be together. He told her that if she drank this, she would heal immediately, offering her the drink to strengthen her energy again. Elsa felt something strange, and then he carried her again and took her to Boric, but the leader of the macaques was watching him as he rushed to Boric. Meanwhile, Boric realized that what Kai did was not wise. He saw Kai giving Elsa this drink, believing that Kai did this to heal her wounds. However, Boric thought that the issue was because the source was of the same race. If she consumed another human stone without proper precautions, it could cause severe poisoning, and in the worst case, she could die, causing Kai to worry about Elsa. He asked Roik if there was another way to save her. Boric mentioned that he had another means but didn't know if time was on their side. Despite that, Kai wanted to act now. Elsa felt extremely fatigued, and as Kai exited the tent, he was deep in thought, reflecting that if he did not act, Elsa would not be saved. He wondered if his power caused nothing but death, and how he could use such a force. Then some macaques approached him, surprising Kai, and he prepared for them with his wind blade. He asked them if they were attacking this valley as well. The macaques bowed to him, thanking the spirits of their ancestors for guiding them, leaving Kai in shock. The leader of the macaques pointed out that the symbol on Kai's face was that of the noble Kanai, and they requested him to come to their territory, which left Kai greatly astonished. Boric continued to treat Elsa, doing everything he could and wishing for her to recover as quickly as possible. He went to inform Kai about this. When he exited the tent, he found the macaques begging Kai, and once the leader of the macaques introduced himself, he asked Kai to listen to their plea. Kai inquired what they wanted. Then Boric stepped forward and told them not to disturb Kai. The macaque leader, Torod, explained that their land had become corrupt, which surprised both Kai and Boric. Torod then mentioned that the land of the macaques was called Higo and had turned barren and foodless, and they awaited nothing but their doom, all because of the corrupt and evil Diabo. When Kai asked about the name, he felt a sharp pain in his head, and he sensed a power within him that urged him to destroy Diabo. Boric then asked what happened to Kai, but Kai assured him he was fine. He told Torod they had been enemies just moments ago, asking why they now wanted him to save them. He refused that request due to the deaths of many in his village because of their attacks. One of Torod's assistants became angry, pointing out that they too had killed many of their kind, which made Torod furious about this, and he pressed his request despite Kai's rejection. He warned that if Kai declined this request, they would attack the village again, but Kai felt no fear, and warned him that if they did so again, they would face consequences, and he would kill each one of them. This frightened Torod, who then ordered his assistant to apologize to Kai and made him kneel before him as a show of respect. Torod's assistant explained that their land had become unlivable, and they had fled to Lag City because they needed new land. Still, Kai refused and told them to leave. He then went back into the tent to check on Elsa. Boric entered and asked Kai about Elsa's condition. Boric informed him that he was done treating her her, and the rest depended on her life force. Boric then asked Kai how he would respond to the macaque's request, but Kai felt that this would not have happened to Elsa if they had not attacked the village, and he would do nothing for them, as he did not care about Diabo. However, Boric witnessed the macaque's plea, which was in accordance with ancient laws, and he couldn't ignore this. He knew this was difficult for Kai, but the force of control compelled him to act, and for the macaques, the force of control was their strength, known as kanai. They called it by two different names, but it was the same power that aided them, and this power transcended the barriers between races to care for everything. Whenever the balance of the world is upset, this power restores it. Kai saw that it was a significant responsibility, and he felt that Boric was asking him to save the world. Boric affirmed this, saying that it was him who must save it, which surprised Kai, who then questioned whether Boric expected him to take on this task. Boric pleaded with him, saying there was no one else who possessed the power of the valley, and that using this power to help the world was his destiny. Kai left the tent, and the macaques were waiting for him. He walked past them, paying them no mind, then tapped into the power of the valley, and wondered if he really was the one to save the world, and if the valley's power was truly that special. He felt it was his fate to save the world, and if he didn't act, the macaques would attack his village again, which filled him with intense anger. He asked the valley why it granted him this power. Then he approached the flowers and almost killed them, but Ryu appeared and asked him to stop, saying the flowers were innocent in this matter. He halted his attempt to kill them, which scared Aroi, who then wondered what was happening. Then we shifted to Boric, who was surprised that the macaques spoke human languages fluently. He noted that Torad's assistant learned quickly, but the assistant thought that human language was difficult and tiring to learn. Then Kai joined them and told Boric he was going to Lag Village. Torad's assistant asked if Kai had refused their help, which made Kai angry, and he told him he was still thinking about it. He then asked Boric to take care of Elsa during his absence so that the villagers wouldn't worry about him. After he left, Torad asked whether Kai would come to kill Diabo. Boric thought Kai wouldn't provide them with an answer now, but he was not the type to run away. Kai then entered the village, and everyone gathered around him to check on him. One of his friends asked about the inspector, but Kai denied being able to catch up with him and mentioned that Elsa was with him. One of his friends suggested he rest since he looked tired, but Kai insisted on meeting Vizen first to tell him something. He then went to Vizen and informed him that the macaques would attack again, which shocked some officials, and they completely refused this claim, insisting they needed to locate their strongholds to eliminate them. They proposed several ideas, like notifying the kingdom of Arsa and requesting their army, as well as informing the neighboring villages. When Kai was about to leave, Vizen called out to him, expressing his amazement at his battle strength and praised him, placing high hopes on him for the future. Then Kai moved down the village and called for Lisa, Elsa's sister, asking about her, but he couldn't reply and didn't tell her about Elsa's illness. Then Josie came to them and saw Lisa angry at Kai for promising to bring Elsa back, which he had failed to do. She began to cry and left. Josie approached Kai and told him that they had lost many lives in this battle, so they needed to fight, causing great sorrow to many. But everyone would die in the future, and if it weren't for this battle, Elsa would be here now. When they looked at the soldiers carrying the macaques, Josie wondered if anyone was crying over their deaths too. However, Kai thought they did this to themselves. Then Ola appeared and asked Kai if he was responsible for these kills. When Kai confirmed, he asked why Kai seemed gloomy and how he should be proud of himself for all these monkeys. But Kai didn't feel pride, which made Olha angry, insisting that he should take pride in himself more. This astonished Kai, and Olha told him that if he weren't cursed, he could have achieved this, as he must distinguish himself in battle. If he did, news about this village would spread, greatly improving their reputation and leading to prosperity for Lag Village. Then he approached the corpses in anger, demanding they should have been prey, drew his sword, and began stabbing them while they lay dead. But Josie tried to stop him, arguing that degrading the bodies wouldn't grant him glory. However, Olha couldn't stand this and almost stabbed them again, but Kai prevented him, asking him to stop. This made Olha furious, and he pushed Kai to the ground, telling him not to be overly excited because no matter what he did, he wouldn't surpass him. But Kai told him he hated the macaques too, and would have stopped them if he could. Yet Olha wasn't convinced by Kai's words since the battle between humans and humanoids had persisted for generations. He asked Kai how long the fighting and killing would go on. They couldn't continue this forever. Kai then walked away, angering Olha, who felt Kai was preaching but was not a bearer of a message to do so. Josie saw this very differently than Olha, but Olha thought this was foolishness on Josie's part. Then Kai went to Vizen, asking for permission to check on the macaques, and promising to return in a few days. This surprised Vizen since he had just returned and wanted to leave the village again. He questioned if Kai was hiding something from him, but Kai denied it. Nevertheless, Vizen sensed that he didn't want to share and knew what was on his mind. He then approached him to mention something he should consider. He revealed nearly equivalent strength to that of the bearers of the message, and told him he possessed power that allowed him to scale walls while ordinary people could neither climb nor break them. And if he were to face a giant beast, he should not flee, and could even tear it apart because he had immense power. He urged him not to hesitate to use it, and Kai agreed to Vizen's request. Then we moved to Manso, who hands a new spear to Kai for self-defense if he encounters any of the macaque. He asks him to run from them and leaves. However, Josie stops him and asks him to take this new knife. Kai is surprised because this knife belongs to her, but Josie doesn't want it because Kai needs it more. Kai thinks it's very good and it would be difficult to waste it. Josie tells him that it has been passed down through generations of the royal family and asks him not to hesitate to use it because if he does, he won't be able to fight with his full strength. Then Kai goes and stops, looking at the village, asking himself if he will return again or not, and can he really do what he is about to do? Then he makes the decision, and that he will do it, and that he will do his best. Then he continues to go. Then we move to the Kuror soldiers, who are burying the inspector's wagon so that no one discovers what happened. Then Kai moves to the Waldi, and Tarud is surprised that Kai will help them, but Kai stipulates that they not attack the village of humans during his absence. Then the macaque make promises to Kai not to attack the village. Then Boric tells them about the grudge between humans and macaque, and that Kai should not go like this because there is no obstacle. Then Kai moves to his tent in the valley with Aroi, and he will wear the Kuror clothes so that no one from the macaque will attack him. Aroi is amazed by this because this uniform belongs to the greatest warrior in their tribe. When Kai wears the uniform, Aroi sees that he looks like a Kuror warrior literally. Then he tells her that he is leaving, but she tells him that she felt afraid of him yesterday when he shouted in front of the valley's power. But he is very different now, and she doesn't know how to describe it now. She felt that he was trying to be their leader now, which surprised Kai. Then he goes to Ailsa to check on her, but she hasn't woken up yet, but he hopes that she recovers very quickly before he returns. Then he comes out of the tent and sees the Kuror soldiers carrying Adrican's axe, and is very surprised by this, and asks them what they are doing here, but Boric seized it after the battle because it will be useful to Kai in some battles as well. Then Kai grabs the axe and waves it, feeling that it is very heavy. Then he goes with the macaque and also with some of the Kuror soldiers on their way to the land of the macaque. Then we move to the capital, and some officials see that there is an attack on the village of Lag from the macaque, and another sees that the macaque are not a big threat. Then another official tells him that the developing countries are the ones that will shed blood, and that they have nothing to do with the matter. But the other official sees that they are enjoying themselves in their place because of their killing of subhumans. But the other official sees that this will not change anything. Then we move to the village of Haikyuu, and Kai and his companions arrive there. Then they entered it, and there were many macaque. There were many graves of warriors, and they plant a seed in the place of each warrior so that he becomes part of the forest, including the graves of those who died in the village of La, but these died because of Diabo. Then Kai asks, except for Tarudu, to tell him more about Diabo, but Boric has never seen him before and only knows legends about him, and he heard that he appeared in their world several times and that the power of the valley was the one who defeated him, and the story was passed down as a legend between different races. But he appeared after disappearing for a long time, so this indicates that a big change will occur in their world. Then they moved to the bridge and saw the fish dead, and Tarudu told them that Diabo was the cause of this because he is cursed and devours the power of everything greedily and takes the blessings of the lands. Then they moved to the house of Aberador, the great macaque. Then they went up to him, and when they approached him, he welcomed them and asked Kai to forgive him for the sight that he will appear to him in. Kai asked himself, is this the macaque leader? He asked him what had happened to him because he showed signs of severe illness, and also for him to make his decision. He then asked him, who brought Diabo? Then Abrador told him that Diabo came when the macaque summoned him through macaque darkness. He also said that Diabo's followers stole the land and ignored the people's suffering. The macaques had become corrupt to the core, and their kingdom deteriorated year after year. Kai believed that macaques and humans were no different, but when the head is corrupt, it sinks an entire nation. Abrador then continued telling him that after suffering defeat in the power struggle, one of the former king's sons headed to the far north looking for new land. He was called Shindor. Abrador then recalled Shindor from the past and told Kai that even though he was the former king's son, he had limitations in his choices with the leaders. He killed many humanoids and made many enemies for himself. Even the people of the north cast many curses upon him because of their intense hatred for him. Then a miracle happened to him, and when he returned to Heijo, he devoured the former king and remained there. Abrador then returned to the present and came out of his dwelling to meet Kai, but he showed severe illness and couldn't walk, until Torod came forward to help him stand. Abrador told Kai that at this rate, their leader would abandon them, and they would become mindless monsters. Then he came forward to Kai and pleaded with him to help them, and Torod and another official too. Kai then heard the voice of power inside him, telling him to kill Diabo. Kai was convinced by this, and told them he would kill Diabo. They then set off, on their way to Diabo. Torod's assistant told them that Diabo was now in Dehushi, the macaque king's castle. Boric's assistant thought it wasn't their job to clean up the macaque's mess, and Kai saw that he was right, but he had to do it. When they arrived there, they were surrounded by some guards. The macaques started shouting at each other in their language, and Kai got angry because he didn't understand anything they were saying. saying. Torad then told him that these guards were from the royal family and they asked them to leave so they could kill Diabo. But Kai got angry because it wasn't the right time for this now. Torad's assistant told them that they had leader Kai with them, and he was the one who would kill Diabo. But one of the kingdom's guards refused Kai's presence and told him he wasn't needed, and that they would be the ones to kill Diabo. Then a spirit appeared among them, and it was Diabo's spirit. Boric believed it was Diabo's spiritual energy because he possessed great power. Kai tried to enter, but he was stopped by one of the kingdom's guards. He asked Kai to leave, but Kai pushed him hard and went inside. His companions followed him inside. As Kai was running, he heard the voice of the power inside him, asking him to kill Diabo. When he entered there, he found a group of guards killed, their power transferring to Diabo. The smell was very foul, and Kai saw that this thing couldn't possibly exist. Then one of the powerful macaque fighters appeared, and it was Xena. The macaque guards cheered her on when she appeared. Torad told them that she was the youngest member of the royal family, but she was just a beginner, and Abrador would be the next king. But Kai saw that Xena was very different from the macaques, and was surprised she was a woman. Xena then summoned one of the big wolves, named Direwolf, which surprised Torad. Torad's assistant said he was the protector of the northern lands, and wondered what he was doing here. Boric believed that Xena was using magical power to control Direwolf, which surprised Kai. Xena then threatened Diabo and told Direwolf to attack Diabo. Direwolf then delivered a blow to Diabo, which caused Diabo to burst into flames completely. Kai believed that Direwolf wanted to burn Diabo, but it didn't work, and Diabo was resistant to fire. Xena then ordered Direwolf to attack Diabo again, but he refused until some of Xena's aides came and fed Direwolf herbs, so he would listen to Xena's orders. After they succeeded in this, Direwolf attacked Diabo and tore a piece from his body, but he fell to the ground after that, which greatly angered Xena. She asked him to attack again, but he couldn't move at all. Kai wondered what was happening, surprised, and he saw that if he cooperated with him, he could eliminate Direwolf. But Torad expected that Diabo's body was completely poisoned, and anything he touched died. Then the piece of flesh that Direwolf tore from Diabo's body grew several branches and attacked the kingdom's guards and wiped them out. Torad expected this because many macaques died the same way. He suggested to Kai that this was his chance to attack while everyone was distracted. Kai then attacked, but Boric's assistant tried to stop Kai, but he didn't care what he said and kept advancing toward Diabo. Then he, Diabo, attacked Kai just like he attacked the macaque guards, but Kai dodged this and fended off Diabo's attacks using the wooden barrier. Kai showed Diabo the mark of the guardian bearer, which surprised Xena, seeing that Kai had great power. Kai then went to examine Direwolf and saw that he wasn't dead yet, but his power had become weak, and he needed to be strengthened. He also saw that his power stone had also become weak, and that poison was causing this, and that it was possible to use an electric shock to wake him up again, but he didn't know if he was capable of it or not. But he remembered Elisa, and that he had done the same thing, and he was surprised that he had very great power. While he was distracted trying to wake Direwolf, Diabo seized the opportunity and attacked Kai's companions. Boric's assistant told him to hurry because at this rate, they would die. Kai then imagined he was in the river and reviewed Direwolf's memories with Xena. He saw Xena after she killed one of the dogs and handed the dagger to Direwolf to merge their powers together. Kai then found Direwolf's heart in the water and shocked it until Direwolf woke up again. Then he, Kai, returned to the present, which surprised Kai. Diabo then started screaming at them in his intense anger and attacked them. Kai fended off his attacks, and Boric also managed to, but Boric saw that they couldn't kill him like this. The rest of the macaques were holding shields to defend themselves so they wouldn't die. Kai didn't know what to do, but the voice inside him guided him to fight with great power and attack the throne. Kai believed that he should destroy the stone inside him, but he didn't know its location. He started fending off some blows from Diabo. Xena saw that Shindor hated this world very much, and she hated this world too. She then remembered what happened to Shindor in the past, who was her brother, when he was exiled to the north, and she got angry because of that. She vowed that she would gain power, find new land, and become its queen. She succeeded in gaining great power, and the mark of the guardian bearers appeared on her. She then returned to the present after becoming strong by bringing power into her body. She vowed to Diabo that since he killed the king and took his power, she would kill him now and take his power to change this corrupt world. She also got angry at Direwolf and went up to him, telling him how he could be the protector of the north. She asked him to attack and kill Diabo, and was about to deliver a blow to him, but Kai stopped her from doing that. He asked her to stop because his wounds hadn't healed yet, but Xena rejected Kai's interference and said she used her followers as she pleased. Kai saw that she used them as tools, then discarded them after she was done with them. He asked her, "Are these the actions of someone born into the royal family?" But Xena scolded Kai because he didn't know anything about the royal family, and said she was able to recognize him. She thought he was was a lost country bumpkin whose manners were terrible, and she asked him, "How did you gain this power? Did you steal it or what?" She said it was clear to her that Kai fought desperately against the world's ways, but this is what it means to live, and she saw that they struggled to live and asked him about the difference between them. She also asked him if his power was Kanai's power. While they were talking, they were attacked, but Direwolf saved them in time. Boric saw that Kai gave him power that made him resistant to Diabo's poison. Direwolf then advanced to Kai and Xena, and stared at Xena, which destroyed his control tool. Then he attacked Diabo, dodged his blows, attacked him again, bit him, and tore off a part of his body once more, which caused Diabo to feel pain again. Boric's assistant was surprised that Diabo was still alive despite having many wounds. Kai saw that Diabo's parts wanted to return to him again. Then a great power emerged from Diabo and shot up into the sky. Then we moved to Lag Village, and everyone saw Diabo's power spreading in the sky, and Josie believed that this was Kai. Then we moved to the Valley Lands, and everyone there felt the power, and the valley's power was also inflamed. Then we moved to Diabo, and he started transforming into a huge body, larger than he was before. Boric saw that this way, he would devour everything. He then attacked the macaques, and Diawolf tried to confront him, but he was restrained by Diabo's power, which angered Kai. Xena went to save Diawolf, but Diabo attacked Xena, and Kai saved her. Then Diabo devoured Kai. Boric rushed to help Kai after he was swallowed, but one of the Korur stopped him to keep him from getting eaten too. Tordo thought there was no hope of saving Kai now, and figured this was the end for him as well. Xena saw that Kai had let Diabo consume him because of his reckless move trying to save her, and she thought she'd never met someone as foolish as him before. Meanwhile, Direwolf was tied up and tried to break free from Diabo's bindings, but Diabo threw some things at him and managed to restrain him even tighter. Then Diabo attacked Boric and his followers too. Xena was warned by one of her soldiers to move from her spot before she got hurt. Then, we moved to Kai trapped inside Diabo, unable to move. He thought that like this, he couldn't fight or save the world since he couldn't get out. Then he blacked out and found himself in another world of forest where he heard Kanei's voice telling him to kill Diabo. Kai tried to stand up, but couldn't. He couldn't use his magical sword either, so he stayed trapped. Then, the power of the valley appeared to him and told him to kill Diabo again, to rise above his limits and become stronger. Kai asked the power of the valley why he'd been chosen to save the world, since Xena had told him he never should have become the Arbiter's power. Kai felt useless, that the responsibility was too big for him, but the power of the valley insisted that Kai had to fight, let his life shine, overcome death, and impress them with his skills. Diabo appeared before Kai, devouring Elisa and the villagers, making Kai extremely angry. He tried to move to protect them but couldn't. Then we moved to the village, where Josie and Fizzin saw clouds in the sky. Fizzin asked about them, and ordered his assistant to gather the soldiers and prepare. Next, we switched to Arwi, who visited the power of the valley and wished for Kai's victory. Then, back to Kai. After he regained consciousness inside Diabo, he realized that Diabo was draining people's life force all at a rapid rate but wouldn't let him drain his too. He thought deeply, and noticed that Diabo's flesh looked like the essence of the Power Stone, but coated in a shell, a crust which was a strange memory for him. This led to Kai changing himself, and he managed to form a shell on his body so Diabo couldn't eat him. He broke free from Diabo's insides and wasn't affected by the curse. Then, the voice of power appeared inside Diabo and told Kai to kill him. Kai raised his hands, filled with power, causing Diabo immense pain, and freeing Direwolf too. Everyone wondered what had happened to Diabo. Then Kai emerged alive from Diabo, amazing everyone. Back to Arwi, she was stunned to see the power appear again. Switched back to Kai. Diabo attacked him, but Kai managed to block his blow and wound him. Diabo lashed out again, but missed. Kai drew his sword, attacked Diabo, landed another blow, and said to himself, he wasn't the same as before. Now, he didn't want just to save his valley or himself. With the power of the Arbiter, and like mighty Kanei, he'd defeat Diabo. Diabo, enraged, attacked Kai, but Direwolf intervened and hit Diabo. Xena saw that Direwolf admitted Kai was the new power of the valley, and Tordo agreed Kai was really Kanei. Xena was upset because she didn't want to admit it. Diabo, now frightened, ran away. Kai and Direwolf chased after him because Kai wanted Diabo's core stone, but didn't know where it was. He asked Direwolf to catch him. Direwolf hurried to grab Diabo, knocked him off the wall, and held him tight until Kai could leap from above and strike Diabo with a powerful blow, cutting off Diabo's head. Everyone was shocked Kai had done it, and Boric thought Kai must have had a hidden sword, but then a body emerged from Diabo's head again. He wasn't dead and tried to escape. Kai didn't let him, chasing after him. The rest of Diabo's body started eating the macaque soldiers. Tordo's assistant saw he was trying to merge again. Boric told everyone not to let the parts reach the main body and to stop him immediately, and Tordo ordered the macaque soldiers to block him as well. While Kai was chasing Diabo, he asked Xena to block his path and not let him escape, so he wouldn't devour all life. Xena told her soldiers to surround Diabo and stop him from running or moving. Diabo attacked the macaque soldiers, but they blocked him with their armor. Kai jumped onto Diabo's back and plunged his hands inside, searching for the Power Stone, but couldn't find its spode, realized he had to rip him open. Kai struck with a powerful blow, tearing Diabo, and the Power Stone appeared in the form of a dog. They fought each other, but the dog dodged Kai's strike. Meanwhile, the rest of Diabo's body attacked Zaina's macaque soldiers. Tordo's assistant stepped in to help, surprising one of Zaina's soldiers, but Boric said now wasn't the time for internal fights. They had to stop the remaining pieces from reaching the main body. Diabo's Power Stone dog attacked Kai, but Zaina appeared and stabbed it in the head, shocking Tordo, who couldn't believe it. Xena realized she wasn't strong enough to pin it down for long, and told Kai to hurry. Kai rushed to search for the stone but couldn't find anything. The main body appeared behind Zaina, forcing her to flee. Once whole again, Zaina struck Diabo with another powerful blow, and Kai delivered another, managing to pull the Power Stone out from Diabo and split it in half. Something appeared inside the Power Stone's liquid, and as the liquid spilled out, a great wind force came forth, turning into Shindor. Now, back in the village, Fazine noticed the black clouds vanished from the sky. Back to Kai, he saw something strange in the sky above. Zaina asked about it, and Kai told her it was a strange world that nobody knew anything about. Then it disappeared, and everything returned to normal. Shindor went back to his normal self and asked about Diabo. When Zaina told him Diabo was gone, he felt like he had survived. Zaina reflected on how terrible Shindor's crimes were, but his ambitions had faded. He tried to stand but couldn't from exhaustion. Boric came to Kai and said it was all finally over. Kai agreed, then fainted. Boric told his assistant that Kai was hungry. Shindor asked about Kai, who he was, and Zaina told him he was the one who cleaned up his mess. Shindor then gave Zaina advice, telling her not to fall for pride gained through power, like he and their father had. Zaina almost fell into the same trap. We then jumped to Macaque lands, where Kai woke up to the macaques celebrating their victory over Diabo along with the Korer. Then, Kai asked Abrador if he was able to move now, and Abrador said he was feeling stronger now that the corruption had faded. Tordo arrived and asked Kai to meet the macaque people. When Kai appeared before them, they all greeted him, and Kai was surprised he had saved these macaque. Abrador told him he had prepared something for him downstairs. They offered him food, and Kai was surprised again. Abrador told him the food was all for him, so Kai started eating, then said his goodbyes to Abrador and the macaque before leaving with Boric and his soldiers. Zaina was waiting for him along the way. When he asked what she wanted, Zaina said she wanted nothing. Truth is, he'd killed Diabo, and she had come to thank him as queen. Kai was surprised she was a queen. To prove it, she removed her mask and showed him the bearer's mark tattoo. Kai said Abrador and the others didn't recognize her as queen, but Zaina said she'd make them accept it. Then she asked what Kai wanted in return, and she'd grant him one request. Kai asked that she free Direwolf. Zaina was surprised, but agreed she had to, even if it meant giving up the blessing over her people. Direwolf was headed north to his homeland. She told Kai she had made a pact with Abrador, and that if they met again, it might be on the battlefield, though she hoped not to see him there. Zaina then said goodbye. Kai showed her the bearer's mark and said goodbye as well. Next, in Lag Village, Josie was training and spun around with her staff. Kai was there behind her. She was surprised he had returned and finished his work. Josie asked how the job went. He told her there were no macaque here, and she didn't believe it, but Kai said he chased them deep into the forest for days and confirmed they were all gone. Josie said winter was coming soon, and Kai guessed the demi-humans would hide away, and Josie hoped that meant they'd have some peace for a while. Kai showed Josie the weapon she had given him before, and admitted she was right, couldn't fight at full strength if he had doubts. Josie was surprised by Kai, saw how much he'd changed, and felt he'd matured suddenly, but Kai said he hadn't reached that stage yet, and told her he'd just cut his hair a bit. Kai's friends came to welcome him, but Josie left right away. His friends scolded him for not coming to see them, and Kai greeted them. Fizin watched Kai from above and asked his assistant if he thought Kai had changed, but his assistant hadn't noticed. Then, Olha arrived. Fizin asked if Olha was okay, and Olha's assistant said he had fully recovered. Olha noticed the macaque attacks had stopped, but said they had other worries. Fizin figured he was talking about the inspector's disappearance. Fizin's assistant said he'd sent scouts to find him, but he hadn't reached any other village yet. Olha's assistant mentioned a village girl had also gone missing, and Olha expected the Central Plains people would fuss about it and blame Lag Village for the inspector's disappearance. Fizin said he'd have to ask help from the local count, but for now, the children of Malak and these lands were safe. Then we moved to Kai with his friends. One of them asked him, "Were you with Josie?" Manso told him he could do whatever he wanted, but Kai asked them all to be quiet. Then we go to the valley, where Arwa gave medicine to Elisa and took care of her. Kai thanked her for that, but Arwa said she didn't mind at all, and thought Elisa was strong and would recover soon for sure. Then Kai told Elisa that this valley would become a new country, and he reminded her that he'd told her before he'd take her somewhere special. If this place really becomes a country, he'd bring her little sister there too. Then Kai imagined Elisa answering him that she's waiting for that day, which surprised him. Arwa said she's sure that day will come. In the end, after leaving the village, he became a strong leader, and it's only natural for him to build a new nation. That's what people around here had always done since ancient times. Then, a group from the Ozelli came to see Kai and asked to meet with him. When he went to them, they asked to join his herd. Their leader introduced herself as Nyren, the only daughter of their elder, and said she inherited their earth power and was responsible for protecting her clan. She pleaded with him to let them join. Then Kai heard the voice of power and was told to accept them. Niran hugged Kai and told him she'd serve him and be his wife too. Boric thought the Ozelli were peaceful and could live together with them, and also, they needed guards for the valley. Nyren kept clinging to Kai, which really annoyed him, so he asked her to stay away from him.